From Vieira, Florida to the world via the internet, welcome to Brevard County Manatees Baseball. I'm Stephen Smith of SpaceCoastBaseball.com, and I'll be telling you about tonight's game from the first pitch until the final out. After an off day yesterday, the red-hot Brevard County Manatees open up a 4-game home series against the Charlotte Stone Crabs, and it should be a really interesting game tonight. The Stone Crabs have the best overall record in the Florida State League at 51-37, and they won the first half title in the league's South Division at 43-26. So they are automatically seeded into the playoffs in September. In the second half, Charlotte off to a slow start at only 8-11, but they can go on and lose the remaining 51 games in their second half, and they're still in the playoffs in September. So they're in cruise control right now. For the Manatees, they finished 27-42 in the first half. That put them 13.5 games out in last place in the Florida State League North. But here in the second half, overall, they're 10-8, and they are in third place, only one game behind the Tampa Yankees and the Daytona Cubs, who are in a virtual tie for first place. Tampa technically has the better winning percentage at .625. They're 10-6. Daytona Cubs 11-7 with a .611 winning percentage, and then the Manatees right behind them at 10-8, one game back. But the Manatees have been hot as of late. In their last 6 games, they are 5-1. And on the mound for the Manatees tonight will be perhaps their hottest starting pitcher of all, Cody Scarpetta, who was working on a string of 16 straight scoreless innings. The last time he gave up any runs was June 24th when the Manatees hosted the Lakeland Flying Tigers. He worked 7 innings that night and gave up 3 runs in the third inning. And in the remainder of his start that night, 4 more innings, the 4th through the 7th, he didn't give up a run. And then on July 2nd, on the road at Dunedin against the Blue Jays, Scarpetta worked 5 innings, allowed only 1 hit, no runs, struck out 8 and walked 2. And then in his last start, which was here at Space Coast Stadium against the Blue Jays on July 8th, he worked 7 innings, no runs, 3 hits, struck out 11, and walked 1. So over his last 3 games, Cody Scarpetta, 19 innings pitched, only 9 hits, only 5 walks, struck out 28. He hit 3 batters, though, so you can't be too comfortable against him. In the league, in his last 3 starts, batting only .143 against him. Opposing Scarpetta for the Charlotte Stone Crabs will be Nick Barnese, B-A-R-N-E-S-E. In 2010, Barnese, 7-4 with a 3.01 ERA. That's good enough for number 5 in the top 10 lowest ERA in the Florida State League. This will be his 17th start tonight. In 16 starts, he's worked 92 2/3 innings, struck out 80, walked 20, given up 87 hits. The league batting .249 against him, and he's given up only 2 home runs. So we should see a really good pitching duel tonight between the Manatees and the Stone Crabs. I'll give you the starting lineups for both teams in just a moment, so if you want to keep score, get your pencil and paper ready, and I'll give you those lineups in just a moment. Before I do that, very quickly, let me remind you that we still have plenty of time left in the 2010 season, so if you live here in Brevard County, make sure to come on out and visit us. In fact, you can still get here for tonight's ball game from anywhere in Brevard County. I think it probably takes no longer than a half hour to get here. All you have to do is get on the Interstate 95 and head for exit 195. So take the I-95 to exit 195. That's listed as Fisk Boulevard. But when you exit at Fisk Boulevard, you turn south and it becomes Stadium Parkway. And you just head south on Stadium Parkway for 3 miles until you arrive at Space Coast Stadium. Parking is free, and single game tickets are $7 each. General admission throughout Space Coast Stadium, except for season tickets, where you'll see there are yellow stickers on those seats. But overwhelmingly, most of the seats here, quality box seats, are available. Sit anywhere you want, general admission for $7. As I said, this is the first of 4 games at home against the Charlotte Stone Crabs. We're back here tomorrow night at 7:05, Friday night at 7:05, and Saturday night at 7:05. The Stone Crabs are the Florida State League affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays. All right, we're ready to give you the starting lineups now. First for the visiting Charlotte Stone Crabs against Cody Scarpetta. Leading it off and in left field is number 1, Christopher Morrell, Murrill. Batting second and at shortstop is number 22, Tim Beckham, Beckham. He was the Rays' number 1 pick in the 2008 draft and number 1 overall in the draft that year. He got a $6.15 million bonus. Batting third is the designated hitter, number 18, Stephen Vogt. Stephen spelled Stephen, Vogt, Voht. Batting fourth is the third baseman, number 35, Greg with 1 G at the end, Sexton, Sexton. Batting fifth is the right fielder, number 17, Reed Frank, spelled Reed, R-E-I-D, and Frank, F-R-O-N-K. Batting sixth is the catcher, number 8, Jake Jeffries, Jefferies. Batting seventh is the center fielder, number 5, and he spells his first name Isaias. I'm told it's pronounced Isaias, or something rather close to that. And his last name is Velasquez, Velasquez. Batting eighth is the first baseman, number 20, Michael Sheridan. And batting ninth is the second baseman, number 10, Matthew Hall. Matthew with 2 T's, Hall, H-A-L-L. And once again, the starting pitcher, number 27, right-hander Nick Barnese, B-A-R-N-E-S-E. All right, now the starting lineups for the Brevard County Manatees. Against Barnese, leading it off and at shortstop, number 17, Josh Prince. Batting second is the second baseman, number 3, Matt Klein, C-L-I-N-E. Batting third is the center fielder, number 8, Eric with a K, Komatsu, K-O-M-A-T-S-U. Batting fourth is the first baseman, number 24, Sean, S-E-A-N, Halton, H-A-L-T-O-N. Batting fifth is the third baseman, number 10, Sergio Miranda. Batting sixth is the left fielder, number 33, Brock Kelgard, Brock, B-R-O-C-K, and Kelgard, K-J-E-L-D-G-A-A-R-D. Batting seventh is the right fielder, number 47, Scott with 2 T's, Krieger, K-R-I-E-G-E-R. Batting eighth is a designated hitter, number 13, Sean, S-H-A-W-N, Zaraga, Z-A-R-R-A-G-A. And batting ninth is the catcher, number 5, Sean McCraw, S-C-A-N-M-C-C-R-A-W. And once again, the starting pitcher is number 23, right-hander Cody Scarpetta, Cody, C-O-D-Y, Scarpetta, S-C-A-R-P-E-T-T-A. The managers are exchanging the lineups at home plate with the umpires, 2 umpires at Advanced Class A. The home plate umpire is Luke Hamilton, and the infield umpire is Alan Alvarez, A-L-L-E-N, Alvarez, A-L-V-A-R-E-Z. And a programming note, not necessarily for what we're doing, but as you know, last night the Major Leagues played their All-Star game, and tonight is the AAA All-Star game between the International League and the Pacific Coast League. The Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, yes, that's their name, they are the International League team hosting that All-Star game tonight, and that starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you happen to have the MLB network on your cable system, the AAA All-Star game is being telecast live on the MLB network starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific, and in between, of course, 6 o'clock Central and 5 o'clock Mountain. If you choose to stay with us, and I hope you do, and this is your first time listening to one of our webcasts, the Manatees do not have a radio broadcast schedule, so the SpaceCoastBaseball.com volunteered to call 15 games for free this year, and so we do not broadcast these games like a normal broadcast. We don't have commercials, we don't sell products, there are no breaks between the innings. So that means that you and I can just keep on chatting between innings about whatever particular subject we're on at the time. The downside of that, of course, is it means that I don't get a break. So if there comes a time where I need a break, then most likely I'll just stick the headset out the window and let you listen to the crowd noise until I'm ready to go again. If you want to email me during the game, you can email me at home@spacecoastbaseball.com. The Manatees take the field wearing their alternate Navy jerseys. They're getting ready for the national anthem, so I'm going to put the headset out the window and let you listen to the young lady about to sing, and I'll be back right after.
New York Yankees owner George Steinbrenner III. Steinbrenner will be inducted into the Florida State League Hall of Fame later this year. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing to honor America for our singing of our national anthem. Tonight's anthem will be performed by Sierra Weeks.
The national anthem performed by a young lady, I guess maybe 10 years old, and I don't think anybody could have done it as well as she did. As I was saying just before that, if you want to email me during the game, I'll be trying to check emails whenever time permits. The email address is home@spacecoastbaseball.com, or you can go to the homepage of spacecoastbaseball.com. There's a link at the top that says click here to email home@spacecoastbaseball.com. When you go to the website, you'll notice there's a message there at the top that reminds you that these games are being webcast voluntarily, and we certainly do have costs associated not just with the webcast, but also the videos and photos and other things that we do out here. So SpaceCoastBaseball.com survives on your voluntary contributions. So if you like what you hear and see and you want to continue to support us with the remaining webcasts the rest of the year and more videos and photos on the website, please consider making a one-time donation or signing up for a $5 a month voluntary contribution. And for those of you who have already done so, thank you very much. Every dollar you donate certainly helps us to keep on going, especially in this economy. I understand for some folks that it may be a little bit difficult, and certainly we're not unique on this end. So again, we're all in this together, and anything you can contribute to help will be very much appreciated. All right, Cody Scarpetta is on the mound. He's thrown his last warm-up pitch to the catcher, Sean McCraw, who goes down to the shortstop, Josh Prince, over to the third baseman, Sergio Miranda, and on to back to Scarpetta to start the game. For Charlotte, in the top of the first, it'll be Christopher Murrill, M-U-R-R-I-L-L, followed by Tim Becken and Stephen Vogt. Murrill, batting .302, batting left-handed against the right-handed Scarpetta. First pitch by Cody. The fastball in the outside corner, 0-1. Burrell, only 13 for 43. No homers, 4 RBI. Next pitch by Scarpetta. Fastball down low, and the count is 1-1. This is the 10th game in the Florida State League for Merle this year. 1-1 pitch, swung on and missed at a fastball, and the count's 1-2. The radar gun is on a pole behind home plate, but it does not seem to be working. There's no reading on the scoreboard. 1-2 pitch, down and in, and the count is 2-2. The Manatees defensively, it's Sergio Miranda at third, Josh Prince at second. Next pitch by Scarpetta, swung on, and he gets just a piece of it and pokes it foul towards the Charlotte dugout. The count remains 2-2. Miranda at third, Prince at second, Matt Klein is at second, and Sean Halton is at first. The outfield has brought Kelgard in left, Eric Komatsu in center, and Scott Krieger in right. Next pitch is swung on, and Merle gets just a piece of it, leaves it at the plate, and the count remains 2-2. Sean McCraw behind the plate, and Cody Scarpetta on the mound. Two-two pitch. Once again swung on, and he rolls it foul the opposite way down the third baseline, down towards the tarp, and against again the count remains 2-2. The Charlotte Stonecrabs, as we said, the advanced Class A affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays, and their road jerseys look very similar to the parent club. Same color, same design, except it says Charlotte across the front. 2-2 pitch. Swings and fouls it the opposite way, just past the press box and out of the stadium, and the count remains 2-2. Cody trying to put him away. Merle keeps slapping those balls away. 2-2 pitch. Swings and hits it the opposite way down the left field line. Racing over is the left fielder, Kelgard, but it goes foul, almost lodged between the tarp and the wall, but it bounced back towards Kelgard, who flipped it in the stands to a young fan. And it's still 2-2. Charlotte manager Jim Morrison coaching down there at third. Once again, the 2-2 pitch. Swung on a miss on a fastball high and away. And Cody Scarpetta starts off the inning with a strikeout. So with one out, that'll bring up Tim Beckham, batting .223, 5 homers, 40 RBI. Beckham was the number 1 pick overall in the June 2008 draft, selected by the Rays. Scarpetta's first pitch is swung on and sliced the opposite way down the right field line. Racing into the corner is Krieger, but it's out of play, 0-1. Beckham was given $6.15 million to sign, but so far has put up less than stellar numbers. 0-1 pitch. Fastball inside, and the count goes 1-1. As we said, batting just .223 here in the Florida State League. Last year in Low A with Bowling Green in the South Atlantic League, he batted .275, 5 homers, 63 RBI. 1-1 pitch, fastball on the outside corner, and the count's 1-2. But in 491 at-bats with Bowling Green last year, he struck out 116 times. 1-2 pitch is bounced up the middle. Prince behind the bag on to first to Halton and gets him for the second out. Nice play by Josh Prince. Matt Klein, the second baseman, was behind him just in case, but Prince's range got that ball, cut it off, and went over to Halton for the second out. So 2 down, and that'll bring up the designated hitter, Stephen Vogt, who's batting .347 with 5 homers and 28 RBI. Vogt does not have enough at-bats to rank in the Florida State League top 10. If he did, he'd be number 2 with batting average. Batting left-handed against Scarpetta, first pitch, fastball on the outside corner, strike 1. Home plate umpire Luke Hamilton seems to be somewhat deliberative before he indicates a strike or a ball. The 0-1 pitch swung on, sliced the opposite way, and it's going to curl over the aluminum overhang on the third base side and out of the stadium. 0-2. On deck is the third baseman, Greg Sexton. 0-2 pitch. Swung on, it's popped straight up the chute, drifting back towards the net, and it bounces over the net and out of play. So the count remains 0-2. As we said, Cody Scarpetta came into this game with 16 straight scoreless innings, and he's one pitch away from making it 17. 0-2 pitch. Fastball up and away, and the count's 1-2. Well, we have the radar reading up on the scoreboard in left field. The number is right below where the line score is on the scoreboard. 1-2 pitch. Inside corner, strike 3 called. Second strikeout for Scarpetta, and he extends his scoreless inning streak to 17. 1-2-3 go the Stone Crabs in the top of the first, and we go to the bottom of the first frame. Charlotte nothing, and the Manatees coming up. Looks like a good night for a ball game. The weather is going to cooperate. Just before game time, it was 87 degrees with 69% humidity, so it felt like 97 degrees, very typical weather for us in July. The wind was out of the east-southeast at 12 miles an hour, and where that translates is that the flags out in left center field are blowing in. Space Coast Stadium almost always is a very pitcher-friendly ballpark. 340 down the lines, 404 to dead center field. They don't post the distance up the alleys, but I guess it's in the 380s. So it's hard enough to poke one out of here, but with the wind blowing in from left center field, that's going to make it all the more difficult. Nick Barnice on the mound, warming up for Charlotte. Barnice making his 17th start of the year. He's 7-4 with a 3.01 ERA. 92 2/3 innings. He struck out 80, walked 20. He's hit 12 batters, which leads the league. Giving up 87 hits in the league, is batting .249 against Nick Barnice. Baseball America ranks Barnice as the number 10 prospect in the Rays system. And let me tell you what the Baseball America 2010 Prospect Handbook had to say about Nick Barnice. By the way, the handbook comes out in spring training, so that lets you know it's a few months out of date. It says that shoulder tendonitis caused Barnice to miss the first 2 months of last season, but he made up for lost time with a solid showing at Bowling Green. He has performed consistently while the Rays have moved him slowly. Barnice is a bulldog who will challenge any hitter at any time. He uses whip-like arm action to deliver fastballs that sit at 91, 92 miles per hour and touch 94. When he stays on top of his hard slurve, it's a two-plane pitch with a sharp break. The bottom falls out of his changeup when it's at its best, and it can become a plus pitch with more consistency. So that's some area. Nick Barnice, bottom of the first, no score. It'll be Josh Prince leading off for Brevard, followed by Matt Klein and Eric Komatsu. First pitch by Barnice. Fastball is the outside corner, strike 1 called. Prince batting .253, 1 homer, 18 RBI. Righty against righty. The 0-1 pitch. Swung on, that's a slow roller down to the second baseman, who goes on to first for the out. Charlotte defensively, it's Greg Sexton at third. Tim Beckham at short. The second baseman is Matt Hall, and the first baseman is Michael Sheridan. In their outfield, it's Christopher Murrell, M-U-R-R-I-L-L. I'll get that right eventually. I think it's Murrell in left. Center fielder is Isaias Velasquez, and the right fielder is Reed Frank, F-R-O-N-K. First pitch hits the outside corner, strike 1 to Matt Klein. Finishing up on the Charlotte defense, the catcher is Jake Jeffries, and again on the mound is Nick Barnice. Nick's 0-1 pitch to Matt Klein is inside, and the count goes 1-1. Matt batting .293, no homers, 22 RBI. leads the league in the dubious category of being hit by pitches with 13. His next pitch is a breaking ball down and away, and the count goes 2-1. Well, this should be an interesting combination because Matt leads the league in being hit by pitches, and Barnice leads the league in hitting batters. 2-1 pitch. Fastball outside corner, and the count's 2-2. The defensive alignment pretty much straight away for Matt. Even though he doesn't have a single home run this year, they seem to be playing him at about average depth in the outfield. Here's a grounder down to the shortstop, Beckham, who goes across the diamond to the first baseman, Sheridan, for the second out. So with 2 down, that'll bring up the center fielder, Eric Komatsu, batting .311 with 2 homers, 34 RBI. Eric, number 6 in the Florida State League, and batting average at .311. Batting left-handed against the righty Barnice, who winds in his first pitch, taken way inside, and it counts 1-0. Eric, second in the league in hits with 98. Could get to 100 tonight with 2 hits. Swings and misses at a breaking ball, and the count's 1-1. Komatsu's number 3 in runs scored with 54 in the league. And he's 5th in walks with 41. Swings and misses at another breaking ball, and the count goes 1-2. In fact, Eric has more walks than strikeouts. 40 strikeouts, 41 walks in 315 at-bats. 1-2 pitch. Swings and fouls it back into the net, and the count remains 1-2. On deck is the first baseman, Sean Halton. One-two pitch. Fastball misses outside, and the count's 2-2. Jeffries tried to frame it. He held his glove there off the outside corner and hoping that the home plate umpire, Luke Hamilton, might call it a strike because he hit the target, but it was outside, and the count's 2-2. And here's the next pitch. Swung on, and it's popped up on the infield. The third baseman, Sexton, over towards the line, drifting a step or two into foul territory for the out. So the Manatees go in order in the bottom of the first. Neither team gets a runner on base in the first inning, and after one, there's no score. Once again, a reminder, if you want to email me during the game with a question, comment, or just to say howdy and let me know where you are, the email address is home@spacecoastbaseball.com. That's home@spacecoastbaseball.com. Or you can go to the home page and you can click where it says click here to email spacecoastbaseball.com. If you were listening to when we had the headset out the window so you could hear the pregame ceremony, there was a moment of silence in memory of longtime Yankees owner George Steinbrenner, who passed away yesterday from a heart attack at age 80. Obviously one of the more controversial figures in baseball history in the last 4 decades. And we'll be talking about George in and out throughout the game, I'm sure. But he was certainly a fixture, not just in Yankees history, but also in Florida baseball. Steinbrenner lived in Tampa, which is, of course, the parent club of the Charlotte Stone Crabs. And he also had a relationship with the founder of the local paper Florida Today, who also founded USA Today, Alan Neuwirth. And there was an extensive article in the sports section of Florida Today this morning about the relationship between the two and how Steinbrenner would come and stay with Alan Neuwirth from time to time, and Neuwirth would go up to Yankee Stadium to watch games. All right, top of the second, no score. Greg Sexton will lead it off for Charlotte, followed by Reed Frank and Jake Jeffries. Sexton, batting right-handed, takes the first pitch high, ball 1. Next pitch by Cody Scarpetta, swung on, line drive down the right field line. Is it going to stay fair? No, it goes foul by about a foot. So the count's 1-1. Sexton batting .301 with 1 homer, 15 RBI. Does not have enough at-bats to qualify for the top 10 in the Florida State League batting average. One pitch by Cody Scarpetta. Fastball right back into the net, and the count goes 1-2. On deck is Reed Frank. Sergio Miranda, the third baseman, playing very close to the line for Sexton. 1-2 pitch is popped up foul back towards us, and it goes up on the roof, and the count goes 1-2. Space Coast Stadium is horseshoe-shaped, and so there is a lot of foul territory behind home plate and along the foul lines. As you go past the dugouts on either side, the visiting team on the third base side and the Manatees on the first base side. 1-2 pitch, fastball way inside off the corner, and the count goes 2-2. But then once you get past the dugouts, it starts to turn back in, and about 2/3 of the way down the line, there's just a few feet between the foul lines and the stands. 2-2 pitch, swung on, it comes back again towards us, and the count remains 2-2. I'm beginning to think Greg Sexton doesn't like us very much. Just to the right of us is the broadcaster for the Charlotte Stone Crabs. That was really aimed more at him than at this press box. So maybe Sexton's got something about him. 2-2 pitch. Swung on it. It's a grounder right down to Halton at first. He'll take it to the bag himself for the first down. So that'll bring up right fielder Reed Frank. First spells his first name R-E-I-D and his last name F-R-O-N-K. Batting .294, 2 homers, 35 RBI. His .294 average, number 10 in the Florida State League batting average derby. Batting left-handed. First pitch by Cody. Fastball up and away, 1-0. Frank, number 5 in the league in doubles with 22. And number 4th in the league in on-base percentage at .406. Scarpetta's next pitch, fastball further away, and the count goes 2-0. Alfia playing pretty deep for Frank. 2-0 pitch. Fastball misses away again, the count's 3-0. Cody's being consistent, but he's being consistently outside. Takes a step off the rubber. Goes to the pitching rosin. Play with that. Okay, now the 3-0 pitch. Fastball down the middle, and the count goes 3-1. His velocity seems to be consistent in the low to mid-90s. 3-1 pitch, swung on, and it's sliced foul on the left side over the aluminum overhang and out of the stadium. As we said, the stadium is horseshoe-shaped, and from the press box here on either side, you go down past these luxury suites, and then beyond that, there's a very small gap, and then an aluminum overhang on either side. Next pitch is inside, ball 4. So Charlotte has its first base runner. And with one out, that'll bring up the catcher, Jake Jeffries, Jeffreys, batting .203. No homers, 17 RBI. Scarpetta working from the stretch for the first time in this game. And his first pitch to Jeffries, fastball away, 1-0. Like Frank, Jeffries also bats left-handed, and Cody seems to be missing away to the left-handed batters in this inning. Frank on first base, 6 for 6 in stolen bases. Being held on by Halton. This pitch is a line drive right to Josh Prince at short, who throws over to first, and he throws it past Halton, and it bounces off the front of the railing, and advancing to second on the throw is Reed Frank. So it's a line drive out by Jeffries to Josh Prince, who then wound up and threw as hard as he could to Halton at first, but it got past Halton, allowing Frank to advance to second. Now, we know there is an error, but the scoreboard does not tell us on who, and I would have to guess that's probably on Josh Prince. So Frank on second with 2 down, and that'll bring up the center fielder, Isaias. I'm not going to get it right, Velasquez. Second baseman Klein deking the runner at second, and Scarpetta steps off, and Frank heads back to the bag. Velasquez batting .283, no homers, 24 RBI. First pitch, fastball high and away, and the count's 1-0. Velasquez spells his first name Isaias, and I was talking to the Charlotte broadcaster before the game, and he tried to teach me how to say it. It's sort of like Isaias Velasquez. 1-0 pitch, fastball misses away, and the count is 2-0. Cody is struggling with his control. In 77 2/3 innings coming into this game, 43 walks. .20 pitch. Fastball misses inside, and the count is 3-0. On deck is the number 8 hitter, first baseman Michael Sheridan. The Manatees left fielder Kelgard playing somewhat shallow. The center fielder Komatsu about 20 feet over into right center for the right-handed hitting Velasquez. 3-0 pitch. Fastball hits the outside corner, and the count's 3-1. The wind still blowing in from left center, although now the flags are pointing a bit more towards right field every once in a while, and they come back to pointing in towards home. 3-1 pitch, swung on, and it's a pop fly that's drifting out into right center field, going on to second baseman Klein, called off by Krieger, the right fielder, for the final out. So although Cody Scarpetta struggled with his control in the second inning, he gets out of it with no more than a walk. No runs, no hits. The throwing error by Josh Prince that didn't cost anything, and 1 runner left. And after an inning and a half, it's the Stone Crabs nothing and the Manatees nothing. Well, we were saying that, as you probably know, longtime Yankees owner George Steinbrenner passed away from a heart attack yesterday. And if you look at the history of his life, he was much more than just a baseball owner. Born in 1930 in Rocky River, Ohio, he was a world-class track and field hurdler while he attended MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, where he graduated in engineering in 1927, first in his class. I take that back. That was his father, so scratch that. His father graduated from MIT with a degree in engineering in 1927. The elder Steinbrenner was later a wealthy shipping magnate who ran the family firm operating freight ships hauling ore and grain on the Great Lakes. George Steinbrenner entered the Culver Military Academy in northern Indiana in 1944 and graduated in 1948. He received a BA from Williams College in Massachusetts in 1952. He was described as an average student who led an active extracurricular life. He was an accomplished hurdler on the varsity track and field team and served as the sports editor of the college paper. He joined the Air Force after graduation, was commissioned a second lieutenant, and posted at Lockburn Air Force Base in Columbus, Ohio. He eventually earned a master's degree in physical education from Ohio State. And we'll get more about George Steinbrenner as we go throughout the game. All right, bottom of the second, no score. And then 4, 5, 6 hitters for the Manatees. Sean Halton followed by Sergio Miranda and Brock Kelgard. First pitch by Barnice. Fastball taken, strike 1. Halton batting .286 with 7 home runs, 42 RBI. Barnice right back at him. Swung on a miss on a breaking ball, and the count's 0-2. Barnice has a very deliberate, slow delivery with a high leg kick. Batter has to be patient, waiting for that pitch to be delivered. 0-2 pitch. Fastball strike 3 called right down the middle, and Sean Halton knew it. 0-2, you're not usually looking for something like that, and Barnice threw him when he least suspected, and that usually works. So with 1 down, that'll bring up the third baseman, Sergio Miranda, who's batting .286, no homers, 52 RBI. The switch hitter batting left-handed against Barnice. First pitch by Nick. Swung on and fouled over the aluminum overhang on the third base side. The count is 0-1. Miranda, most definitely a contact hitter. And the third baseman, Sexton, playing a couple steps in. Next pitch swung on and sliced again, the same location over the aluminum overhang and out of the stadium, and the count quickly goes 0-2. Sergio, in 322 at-bats, has only struck out 33 times. 0-2 pitch. Fastball taken up high, and the count is 1-2. Miranda has 17 walks. Swings on the next pitch and rolls it foul down the third baseline past the manager, Bob Missick, coaching at third. Hitting coach Dwayne Hosey coaching over at first. Miranda leads the league, tied for the league lead in sacrifices, and leads in sacrifice flies. 1-2 pitch, swings at it and gets just a piece of it and lines it to the backstop, and the count's 1-2. He's the third toughest batter in the league to strike out. If you're looking at strikeouts to ratio of total plate appearances. 1-2 pitch is a grounder into right field for a base hit. That's the first hit for the Manatees. We were talking about Sergio being tough to strike out. Strikes out once every 10.91 plate appearances. So with 1 out and Miranda on first, that'll bring up the left fielder, Brock Kelgard. Batting .230, 8 homers, 45 RBI. His 8 home runs lead the Manatees. Miranda takes his lead off of first, being held on by the first baseman, Sheridan. And the first pitch, fastball hits the outside corner, 0-1. Sergio, 10 for 12 in stolen bases. There's another token toss to first, and once again, Miranda's back. As we said, Brock Kelgard leads the team in home runs, but unfortunately he also leads the league in strikeouts with 116. There's another throw to first, and Miranda diving back again. His white pants getting dirty pretty quickly. The 0-1 pitch, swung on a miss on a breaking ball inside, and the count goes 0-2. The left fielder, Murrow, playing fairly deep for Kelgard. Velasquez in center at about average depth, and the same goes for Frank and right. And they're playing pretty much straight away. 0-2 pitch. It's just a piece of it, and it goes to the backstop, and the count remains 0-2. On deck is Scott Krieger. No score here in the bottom of the second, 1 out. Sergio Miranda on first. And the 0-2 pitch to Kelgard is lined up the middle. It's going to be caught by the shortstop, Beckham, who tags the runner Miranda coming in to second base, but no time to go on to first to get Kelgard. So, Miranda erased 6 unassisted. Kelgard on first on the fielder's choice. And with 2 outs, that'll bring up the right fielder, Scott Krieger, batting .229, 6 home runs, 18 RBI. At the plate, rather similar to Kelgard in that he strikes out a lot. 105 at-bats, 38 strikeouts, but does hit with power. First pitch, breaking ball sweeps way away, and the count's 1-0. Kelgard on first, 3 for 4 in stolen bases. Doesn't go that often, but he will go from occasion time to time. 1-0 pitch, fastball outside corner, and the count's 1-1. The wind's seeming to shift just a little bit more from home towards third base, but still pretty much coming into home. Next pitch swung on and missed, fastball, and the count goes 1-2. On deck is the designated hitter, Sean Zaraga. As we said, the Manatees have been hot as of late. They've won 5 of their last 6 games. 1-2 pitch, swung on and gets just a piece of it and lines it back into the net, and the count remains 1-2. Just another typical warm, muggy evening here in the Space Coast. That time of year where we have a pretty good chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening, but nothing here so far, and it's a swing and a miss for Scott Krieger. That is the second strikeout for Barnese. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 left. And after 2, there's no score between the Charlotte Stone Crabs and the Brevard County Manatees. In any case, as I was saying, the weather here this time of year tends to get rather frisky as the warm, moist air from the Gulf comes in over the peninsula and collides with the cooler, drier air coming in from the Atlantic. And we had quite a bit of thunderstorms yesterday afternoon, but of course it was a day off in the Florida State League to honor the Major League All-Star Game being telecast. Today it didn't quite fire up as much. There were some isolated showers, but nothing that would have stopped us from playing. Cody Scarpetta on the mound for his 3rd inning of work. Cody did not make the Baseball America Top 30 Prospects list for the Milwaukee Brewers, but he did show up in another reference book that's published by independent analyst John Sickles. And he called the 2010 Baseball Prospect book, and he used to be an analyst for ESPN, and he is pretty reliable if you're looking for a second opinion outside of what Baseball America has to say. You know, and I need to take back what I said about Cody because I kept some bad notes. He did, in fact, make it on the Milwaukee Top 30 list last spring, and I'll tell you where he was here in just a second. Thought he made the list. Cody was ranked number 13 by Baseball America. I'll get back to what John Sickles said in just a little bit, but I'll tell you what Baseball America had to say for Cody Scarpetta here. So go to the top of the 3rd, no score. The number 8 hitter Michael Sheridan, followed by Matt Hall, and then the top of the lineup with Chris Merle. Sheridan batting .240, 2 home runs, 24 RBI. Left-handed batter against the right-hander Scarpetta. First pitch. Outside corner, strike 1 called. We said that Sergio Miranda, number 3 in the league in making contact. And Michael Sheridan is number 2. 0-1 pitch swung on and it's sliced foul on the third base side and bounces in front of the last luxury suite box down there next to the press box. Count 0-2. Here's what Baseball America had to say about Cody Scarpetta. Said he might have been selected higher had he not torn fastball up on a way, and it counts 1-2. He was drafted in the 11th round in 2007. It might have gone higher had he not torn the flexor tendon at the base of his right index finger 6 weeks before the 2007 draft. 1-2 pitch, gets just a piece of it and lines it back into the net. The count remains 1-2. Cody had surgery before the Brewers made him an 11th round choice and signed for $325,000. Then Milwaukee voided the deal when he needed a second operation and re-signed him for $125,000. 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. So even though Sheridan was the second toughest batter to strike out in the Florida State League, Cody Scarpetta got him. That is the 3rd strikeout of the game for Cody Scarpetta. And that'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Matt Hall. who's batting 171, a home run and 16 RBI. Batting right-handed against Scarpetta. First pitch by Cody. Fastball outside corner, strike one. Home plate umpire Luke Hamilton seems to have a very generous strike zone. Getting back to what B.A. had to say about Cody, fastball misses off the outside corner and the count is 1-1. Baseball America describes him as a big-bodied pitcher that maintains velocity and downward tilt on his 90 to 94 mile-an-hour fastball. That's a fastball and misses the way, and the count's 2-1. Last year at Low A, Wisconsin, managers rated his curveball as the best in the Midwest League. And his improved changeup gives him a chance to have 3 solid or better pitches. There's a line drive down the left field line, and it bounces fair into the corner. Racing after the ball is Brock Kelgard. Heading for second is Sheridan, and he'll stop there with a stand-up double. I'm sorry, that was not Sheridan. That was the number 9 hitter, Matt Hall. So Hall gets the first base hit for the Stone Crabs. He's on second base with 1 out. We go back to the top of the lineup with Chris Merle, who struck out to lead off the game. Batting left-handed. Scarpetta working from the stretch. Hall takes the lead off a second. And Cody's first pitch swung on and missed, 0-1. Wrapping up with BA's review of Cody Scarpetta, they said he's not athletic and could use better conditioning, which might help him repeat his mechanics more easily. 0-1 pitch. Way inside, and Sean McCraw keeps it from going to the backstop, and it counts 1-1. B.A. says that when Cody doesn't get out in front with his delivery, his pitches come up in the zone and are more hittable. And we'll get to what John Sickles had to say about Cody in the next inning. 1-1 pitch. Gets just a piece of it and lines it foul down the third baseline into the stands. Just missed a little girl, maybe 7 or 8 years old, who was playing down there. Not really paying all that much attention, but looks like maybe her father was there next to her and got the ball for her and handed it to her. So the count's 1-2 to Merle. Hall off of second. Cody seems to always take 2 looks back towards Hall there, and the next pitch is a fastball high and away, and the count's 2-2. We've seen with every pitch here that when Cody comes set, he'll look back at the runner at second, and then he'll look a second time, and then he'll deliver. That might be more effective if he varied it. If he did it maybe once and then did it 3 times, and maybe didn't do it at all. But when you get into a rhythm, you're basically signaling the runner when it is that you're not going to make a pickoff throw. Unless he's trying to set him up. There are the 2 looks and the breaking ball. High and away, and the count's full, 3-2. On deck is Tim Beckham. No score here in the top of the third. Cody Scarpetta has thrown 2 shutout innings to extend his scoreless string to 18 innings. But Matt Hall at second could break that if he scores. This pitch is a base hit into left field on 1 bounce in front of Kelgard. The manager coaching at third holds up the runner, so the scoreless string remains intact for now. But Chris Merle is on first with a base hit, and advancing to third is Matt Hall. So that'll bring up the shortstop Tim Beckham, who grounded to short his first time up. Time called by the Manatees, and pitching coach Fred Dabney coming out to the mound to talk to Scarpetta. And catcher Sean McCraw is going to join them. Let's see who else comes out for the confab. Walking over is the first baseman Sean Halton and Josh Prince in the vicinity. Halton and Prince standing a few steps away as if they're trying to overhear a conversation they're not invited to. We'll go ahead and tell you during this break what it is that independent analyst John Sickles had to say about Cody Scarpetta. Take advantage of the time. John says that he ranked Scarpetta as a major sleeper entering 2009, and that Cody made him look good with a fine season in the Midwest League, and noted his excellent strikeout to innings pitched and hits to innings pitched ratios. That he showed a solid, the low 90s fastball, but his out pitch is an excellent curve. And then he added a strong changeup to his arsenal last year, giving him 3 offerings. Okay, we're ready to go. Beckham at the plate, runners at first and third, 1 out. First pitch by Scarpetta is a breaking ball and misses away, and the count's 1-0. The middle infielders playing at average depth. Grounder to one of those two, they'll go for the double play. Miranda at third, about even with the bag, keeping an eye on Hall leading off the third. There's a throw over to first, and diving back in is Merle. Merle being held on by Sean Halton. We mentioned Merle's last time up. This is only his 10th game in the Florida State League. He's 5 for 6 in stolen bases, so he's been a busy bee in his first 9 games. 1-0 pitch, breaking ball way up and in, and the count is 2-0. Sean McCraw, the Manatees catcher, just recently arrived, so he hasn't been tested that often in nailing runners. He's 2 for 5, should Merle at first be so inclined. 2-0 pitch. Swings and hits a line drive foul down the right field line, and it's going to go out of the park, and the count's now 2-1. Ground ball could turn 2 and get Scarpetta out of the inning. 2-1 pitch. Swung on a miss on a breaking ball, and the count is 2-2. That was the changeup. A quite effective pitch. Wrapping up with what John Sickles had to say about Cody, he said Scarpetta still needs to improve his command and control, and scouts worry that his body is too fat. Well, I apologize if the Scarpetta's family is out there, but that's what the guy said. There's the pitch that goes to runner, and McCraw drops the ball. It was outside anyway, so the count goes to 3-2 as Merle advances to second on the stolen base. He's now 6 for 7 in stolen bases in his first 10 games in the Florida State League. Holding at third is Matt Hall. So that pretty much eliminates the double play. Count full, 3-2 to Beckham. And here's Cody's pitch. Swung on and missed on a curveball. Strike 3. That's the 4th strikeout for Scarpetta, and that'll bring up Stephen Vogt. Vogt struck out looking to end the top of the first. Charlotte threatening here in the top of the third with runners on second and third and 2 down. Still no score. Lefty Vogt waiting for the right-hander's pitch, and the first pitch is swung on and missed, and the count's 0-1. Cody's fastball seems to be pretty consistently around 92-93. 0-1 pitch, down and in, and the count is 1-1. The flag's still blowing in from left center field. They do go a bit limp every once in a while, suggesting that maybe the wind's starting to die down just a little bit. 1-1 pitch. Swings and gets just a piece of it, rolls it slowly over to the Charlotte dugout on the third base side, and the count goes 1-2. On deck is the cleanup hitter, Greg Sexton. Time called by the home plate umpire, Luke Hamilton, probably at the request of the batter, Vogt. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball, and it's bounced. Was it fair or foul? And they're going to say it was foul. It was bounced up the first baseline to Halton, and the only question was, did it go fair or foul? And it was just foul by a couple of inches. And Cody Scarpetta came that close to being out of the inning. Count remaining 1-2. Scarpetta's pitch sliced right back into the net, and the count remains 1-2. One-two pitch. Swings out and pokes it into left field. Is it going to fall? No. Brock Kelgard is there for the final out. So Cody Scarpetta extends his scoreless inning streak to 19. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left. We go to the bottom of the third, and it's the Stone Crabs nothing and the Manatees nothing. Once again, if you want to email me with a question or a comment or just a howdy-do to let me know that you're out there listening, the email address is home@spacecoastbaseball.com. That's home@spacecoastbaseball.com. We were talking earlier about the life of George Steinbrenner, and I was telling you about his college years. He graduated from Ohio State University in 1955, earning a master's degree in physical education. And while he was at Ohio State, he served as a graduate assistant to the legendary Buckeye football coach Woody Hayes. The Buckeyes were undefeated national champions that year and won the Rose Bowl. Steinbrenner also served as an assistant football coach at Northwestern and at Purdue. In '57, he joined the Great Lakes Shipping Company that his great-grandfather had purchased in 1901. He revitalized the company, which was suffering hardship during difficult market conditions. And in its return to profitability, it emphasized grain shipments over ore. And with a few years later, with the help of a loan from a New York bank, Steinbrenner purchased the company from his family. By 1972, the company's gross sales were more than $100 million annually. Now, here's something else about Steinbrenner you probably didn't know. In 1960, he entered the sports franchise business for the first time, but it was with the American Basketball League's Cleveland Pipers. They were coached by John McClendon, who became the first African-American coach in professional basketball. And we'll pick it up at there as we go to the bottom of the third, still no score. It'll be the number 8 hitter for the Manatees, Sean Zaraga, followed by Sean McCraw, and then to the top of the lineup in Josh Prince. First pitch by Nick Barnese. Ooh, line right up the middle for a base hit. That missed Barnese's noggin by an inch or two. And he spun trying to avoid that, and once it went by, he looked like he'd just gone through a near-death experience. So Sean Zaraga leads it off with a base hit. And that'll bring up the catcher, Sean McCraw, who's only recently arrived with the Manatees. This is his 4th game. 3 for 13 so far at the plate. No homers, 3 RBI. Batting left-handed, which means the first baseman, Sheridan, holding on Zaraga, is leaving a big hole for McGraw on the right side. First pitch is fastball up, and it counts 1-0. McGraw spent much of his career in the Mets system before joining the Brewers in 2009. Next pitch is sliced the opposite way down the left field line. It's going to fall foul. So the count goes 1-1. McCraw joined the Mets system in 2005, spent 3 different seasons in the Florida State League with the St. Lucie Mets. Then in 2009 was signed by the Brewers and was assigned to the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, 1 level below us. They're in the Midwest League. And last year in 76 games batted .211. The 1-1 pitch is a blooper up the middle for a base hit. The center fielder, Velasquez, fields the ball and gets it in. Zaraga stops at second. So the first 2 batters in this inning, the 8 and 9 hitters, get base hits. We go to the top of the lineup to Josh Prince, who grounded out his first time up. Nick Barnese coming into this game with the 5th lowest ERA in the Florida State League. And yet the number 8 and 9 hitters get back-to-back singles to lead off the bottom of the third. First pitch to Prince shows a bunt, and it's taken for a strike, 0-1. Neither Zaraga or McCraw have much of any speed on the base paths, but the shortstop Beckham was deking behind Zaraga at second. And you got to be careful with that because you can get out of position and leave a hole. Next pitch is taken, and it misses down low, and the count's 1-1. Prince showed bunt on that one as well, but didn't offer, and that drew in the third baseman Sexton in on the grass, which is where he still is. He's a couple of steps in on the grass. 1-1 pitch. Prince bunts it over the net behind home plate and into the stands, and the count is 1-2. That allows the third baseman Sexton to go back and play deeper. He's about parallel with the bag right now. Prince came in batting .253. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball and pop foul down the first baseline towards the aluminum bleachers. Makes it down a runway, and the count remains 1-2. On deck is Matt Klein. 1-2 pitch. Swung on a miss on a breaking ball up in his eyes for strike 3.
Now hitting the second baseman, number 3, Matt Klein.
That's the third strikeout for Nick Barnese, and that'll bring up second baseman Matt Klein, who grounded out to short his first time up. Now ground ball double play could get Barnese out of the inning. Third baseman Sheridan about parallel with the bag. Second baseman is deking the runner, but first pitch delivered by Barnese is a strike, 0-1. As I was saying earlier, when Beckham was deking Zaraga at second, that was Hall this time. You got to be careful about that because if you're still out of position when the ball is delivered, you could leave a big hole in your defense. Fastball taken, and it's 0-2. If Beckham is still standing near second base when the pitch is delivered and the ball is hit straight to where the shortstop should be, of course it's going to be a base hit. So you have to be very careful about that. And that responsibility is not just with the infielder, but with the pitcher too. Pitch hits Matt Klein in the head on the helmet, and he is fine. Don't worry about it. It looked like it bounced off the helmet. Took a big bounce high, but Matt doesn't seem to be bothered at all. He's walking down to first. And so if the Klein family is out there, don't worry about him, just like the 13 other times he was hit by a pitch so far this year. He walks away from this one as well. So now the bases are loaded with one out as McCraw advances to second and Zaraga to third. Bases are loaded with one out, and Eric Komatsu is at the plate. Well, we commented the first time that Klein was up that Klein leads the league in being hit by pitches, and Barnese leads the league in hitting it. We expected that would happen. First pitch is swung on. It's a pop foul towards the third base dugout. Coming over is the catcher, Jeffries, who misses it as the ball bounces into the net, and the count goes 0-1. Klein had been hit 13 times coming into the game, and Barnese had hit 12 batters this year. So it seemed inevitable statistically that at some point that Barnese was going to plunk Matt Klein, and thankfully, wearing the helmet, he was just fine. No score here in the bottom of the third. Bases loaded with one out. Zaraga at third, McCraw at second, and Klein on first, and the count 0-1 to Eric Komatsu. Fouled out his first time up. The 0-1 pitch, breaking ball, darts back in on the outside corner, and the count goes 0-2. Komatsu came into the game batting .311. 0-2 pitch, fastball up and away, and the count's 1-2. Eric's batting average was good for number 6 in the top 10 in batting average in the league coming into the game. 1-2 pitch, way inside, and the count goes 2-2. Barnese seems to be losing some control on his fastball. 1-2 pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3. Fastball 92 miles an hour right up there in his eyes, and Komatsu couldn't catch up with it.
Now hitting the first baseman, number 24, Sean
That's the fourth strikeout for Barnese, and that'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Sean Halton, who struck out looking, to begin the bottom of the second. Bases loaded, 2 down. First pitch by Barnese. Fastball misses away, and the count's 1-0. Next pitch by Barnese, swung on and missed on an off-speed pitch, and the count's 1-1. That appeared to be the changeup. Halton has 7 home runs, second only to Brock Kelgard on the Manatees. 1-1 pitch. Swings and slices it the opposite way into the first base bleachers, and the count goes 1-2. Well, this is the best chance that the Manatees have had to score in this game. Bottom of the third, no score. Bases loaded, 2 down. We expected a pitcher's duel, and Cody Scarpetta staggered a little bit in the top of the third, but Charlotte wasn't able to score. Now Nick Barnese staggering a little bit himself, but hoping to put the Manatees away here in the bottom of the third. 1-2 pitch. Slow roller down to Sheridan at first. He'll take it to the bag himself for the final out. So the Manatees come close, but they leave the bases loaded. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 3 left. After 3, the Charlotte Stonecrabs nothing and the Brevard Manatees nothing. I need to turn on the lights here in the press box, so I'm going to stick the headset out the window, and I will be right back. I have this habit of forgetting to turn the lights on in the press box, and I'm reminded when we're eclipsed here at sunset. Anyway, we were talking about the passing of George Steinbrenner, and I was telling you that his first pro sports franchise was actually in the American Basketball League in 1960 with the Cleveland Pipers, and that they hired John McClendon, who became the first African-American coach in professional basketball. After McClendon left, he was replaced by former Boston Celtics star Bill Sharman, and the Pipers won the ABL championship in 1961-62. And then the league folded in December '62, just months into its second season. After that, Steinbrenner turned his attention to the theater, and he invested in a couple of plays, none of which was very successful other than the 1974 Tony Award-winning nominee for Best Musical, Seesaw. Meanwhile, while he was doing that, if you know your Yankees history, you know that the glorious history that the Yankees had pretty much came to an end in 1964, when was the last year that they were in the World Series, and after many decades of dominating the American League, they went into decline and were pretty much the laughingstock of the league by the late 60s, early 70s, at a time when the Yankees were owned by the CBS television network, which acquired the team in 1965, and that's where we will pick up later on. All right, top of the fourth, Cody Scarpetta has extended his scoreless inning streak to 19. He'll face Greg Sexton to lead it off. First pitch is a line drive foul off the tarp down the third baseline, and the count's 0-1. Sexton will be followed by Reed Franck and Jake Jeffries. Charlotte had Cody Scarpetta on the ropes with 2 runners on second and third with 1 out, but weren't able to put him away in the third. Next pitch is high with an off-speed pitch, and the count is 1-1. Next pitch, change-up, swing and misses, and the count's 1-2. That was a beautiful pitch. Perhaps the best off-speed pitch that Cody has thrown all night. 1-2 pitch. There's a big bending curveball swung on and fouled over on the right side of the press box, and the count remains 1-2. Sexton grounded out to first to lead off the bottom of the second. 1-2 pitch. Fastball left up high, and the count's 2-2. Cody's 2-2 pitch is an off-speed pitch that goes down the right field line And it's going to curl into the stand. Scott Krieger over to have a look, but really didn't have a chance at it. Not quite down to the Manatees bullpen, which is behind the stands near the right field foul pole. And we can never see what's going on down there. So if and when the Manatees have somebody warming up in the pen, we can't tell. Swing and a miss at a fastball, strike 3. That's the 5th strikeout for Cody Scarpetta. In his last start on July 8th, in 7 innings, Cody struck out 11 and walked just 1. Reed Franck at the plate. First pitch is a foul ball to the left side of the press box, and the count is 0-1. Franck walked in the 2nd inning, the only walk that Scarpetta has given up. Franck among the league's leaders in several offense categories, number 10 in average at .294, 5th in doubles, and 4th in on-base percentage. 0-1 pitch. There's a high fly ball down the left field line. Racing over is Brock Kelgard. It drifts foul and it bounces into the stands. Also over there were the third baseman Sergio Miranda and the shortstop Josh Prince. All 3 defensive players showing excellent hustle. And we've seen that in the last week or so, that as the team has played better ball, they seem to be much more aggressive defensively, as if the team's spirits after the last lackluster first half have suddenly picked up as they realize, you know what, we can compete in this league if we really dedicate ourselves to it. (0-2) pitch by Scarpetta. Fastball up and away, and the count is 1-2. With the exception of Cody Scarpetta on the mound, who's ranked number 13 by Baseball America, none of the other players are in the top 30 Brewers prospects, according to BA. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball, swung on and missed. Strike 3, a nice bender, 12-6 curve. And that is the 6th strikeout for Cody Scarpetta. So with 2 down, that'll bring up the catcher, Jake Jeffries, who lined out to the shortstop Josh Prince in the 2nd inning. Scarpetta's first pitch inside, ball 1. Jeffries batting left-handed, and the center fielder Kamasu about 20 feet the opposite way into left center. 1-0 pitch. It's a line drive foul on the third base side, bounces off of an empty seat. And the chase is on as several children chase it there on the concourse walkway. Count 1-1. Cody right back at him, and the next pitch is down low, and the count's 2-1. Flags now have gone limp in left center field. No wind at all. 2-1 pitch is a little looper into... Who got him up that ball? Looked like he came up with the second baseman, Klein. I lost track of it, to be quite honest. And it looked to me that Klein came up with the ball for the final out. Well, my middle-aged eyes deceive me, but in any case, the Charlotte Stonecrabs go 1-2-3 in the top of the 4th. Cody Scarpetta now with 20 consecutive scoreless innings. And as we go to the bottom of the 4th, it's the Charlotte Stonecrabs nothing and the Brevard County Manatees nothing. Well, this game coming in as advertised, because we said coming in that we thought that there were 2 excellent starting pitchers in Nick Barnese and Cody Scarpetta. And as we go to the bottom of the 4th with no score, that's exactly what we have so far. Let's look at some of the scores from around the rest of the league. The Clearwater Threshers, the Phillies affiliate, are at the Bradenton Marauders, a Pirates affiliate, and they're in the bottom of the 3rd with the Marauders leading 1-0. In St. Lucie, the Mets and the Dunedin Blue Jays are tied 3-3 in the 3rd. After 4 in Lakeland, the Flying Tigers leading the Palm Beach Cardinals by a score of 3-2. Fort Myers and Daytona, the home team, the Cubs, trailing Fort Myers by a score of 5-0 going to the bottom of the 3rd. That score of interest to the Manatees because they're chasing Daytona and Tampa. Those two teams tied for first, and the Manatees in third, one game behind them. The Tampa Yankees are on the road at the Jupiter Hammerheads, the advanced Class A affiliate of the Florida Marlins. They have no score in the fifth. So that's where we stand right now in the Florida State League. All right, bottom of the fourth, no score, no runs, 2 hits, no errors for the Stone Crabs, no runs, 3 hits, and an error for the Brevard County Manatees. In the bottom of the fourth, Sergio Miranda will lead it off. He'll be followed by Brock Kelgard and Scott Krieger. Sergio singled in the second. The first pitch is lined foul on the third base side into the stands, and the count is 0-1. Once again, a reminder that if you have MLB Network on your local cable system, that you can, next pitch is down and in, and the count is 1-1. You turn on the MLB Network right now, they are having the AAA All-Star Game, and checking the homepage of MILB.com, I see it's 1-0 PCL after 4. Next pitch is sliced foul down the third baseline, and the count goes 1-2. You can get the scores for all the minor leagues through MILB.com, the official website of minor league baseball. You just go to MILB.com and then click on scoreboard, and you can select any league you want to look at. 1-2 pitch, fastball left up high, and the count is 2-2. Not only will they give you the box score of the game as it stands, but you can also click on where it says recap, and they'll give you play-by-play. There's a breaking ball line foul over the Charlotte dugout. All it did was hit a plastic seat, although the Charlotte players were leaning up over the dugout to see if anyone was hit, and in fact, a couple of the Brevard County Fire Rescue EMTs are walking over just to check and be sure everybody's okay. Next pitch is a pop fly into left center field. Racing over is the center fielder Velasquez, and he has it for the first out.
Now hitting the left fielder, number 33, Brock Kelgard.
So that'll bring up the left fielder, Brock Kelgard, who reached on a fielder's choice his first time up. I was about to say that one of the things you can look at MILB.com on the scoreboard is a ruling play-by-play. First pitch by Kelgard rolled foul off the facing of the Charlotte dugout, count 0-1. And as I said in the top of the fourth, I missed who caught that pop fly by Jeffries. 0-1 pitch, breaking ball, and it's pop foul. Over here towards the press box, it counts 0-2. I thought maybe it was Matt Klein. I just flat out couldn't see the ball. And the official scorer tells me that it was the center fielder Eric Komatsu who caught that ball. 0-2 pitch. Strike 3 called on a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. That is the 5th strikeout for Barnice. And with 2 down, that'll bring up the right fielder Scott Krieger, who struck out swinging to end the second. First pitch by Barnice. Breaking ball hits the outside corner, strike 1 called. The MILB.com scoreboard page, especially the recap, is very handy for calling these minor league games. 0-1 pitch, swings and misses at a big breaking ball that counts 0-2. In this press box, we do not have the ability to hear the rulings of the official scorer. The scoreboard here will only show if there was an error, and that's it. It won't tell you who the error was charged to. Krieger swings and rolls the ball foul towards the Charlotte dugout, and the count remains 0-2. So when there's an error charged, all we know is that there was an error, but we don't know to whom. Also, when it's a wild pitch versus a pass ball, we can't get that ruling either. So After about a 5-minute delay, it'll be posted at MILB.com, and that helps us know what it was that the official scorer came up with. Here's a slow roller down to second. Gobbling it up as Hall goes on to Sheridan at first for the final out. 1-2-3 go the Manatees in the bottom of the fourth. And after 4, Charlotte and Brevard, no score. Let's talk some more about the life and times of George Steinbrenner. And the last time we were talking about him, we had said that the television network CBS had bought the Yankees in 1965, which pretty much coincided with their decline in the late 60s, early 70s. And in 1973, George Steinbrenner, with a minority partner and a group of investors, purchased the Yankees from CBS for a selling price reported to be $10 million. Although CBS bought back some parking garages that were part of the deal for $1.2 million, so the net cost that Steinbrenner got the Yankees for was $8.8 million. And right away, it became a very controversial operation. Steinbrenner's minority partner, E. Michael Burke, got angry when Steinbrenner named a senior Yankee executive without Burke's permission and quit the team presidency in April '73. It's the first of many high-profile departures with employees who crossed paths with Steinbrenner. At the conclusion of the 1973 season, manager Ralph Houck left. And if memory serves me, he came in 1961, succeeding Casey Stengel. And general manager Lee McPhail also left to become president of the American League. And we'll pick up at that point. Top of the fifth, no score. Well, now the PA guy says it's Isaias Velasquez, which is pretty close to the way that the Charlotte broadcaster put it. First pitch by Scarpetta. Ooh, strike one call. That fastball looked to be up and in, but as I said, home plate umpire Luke Hamilton has a very generous strike zone. 0-1 pitch. Fastball taken up and away, and the count's 1-1. Velasquez hit a high pop fly into right field his first time up. We're getting more and more overcast here. Pitch misses, and the count's 2-1. I still don't think any rain is imminent, but as I look off to the southwest, fastball, wow, looked like that was a good 6 inches off the plate, but it's called a strike, and that's all that matters, 2-2. I was going to say, to look off to the southwest, it looks like it's raining a little bit, but the flags are limp right now. This is a bouncer and a couple of hops down to Matt Klein at second, who goes on to Halton at first for the out. At broadcast time, the weather projection on weather.com had only a 10% chance of rain for us through midnight. But as I've preached many times on these webcasts, that Florida weather is very fickle, and even if they tell you 0% chance of rain, don't count on it. All right, first baseman Michael Sheridan steps and struck out his first time up, and the first pitch to Scarpetta up at his eyes and inside, and the count's 1-0. Next pitch by Scarpetta, breaking ball got away from him up and away, and the count is 2-0. The second baseman Klein shaded quite a bit over towards first. 2-0 pitch. This slice foul over the net behind home plate into the stands, and the count goes 2-1. Weather.com tells us it's now 84 degrees, and with the humidity it feels like 92, and still no rain in the forecast for us. Fly ball to center field, giving ground is Eric Komatsu into left center field, and he has it for the second out. So with 2 out, that'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Matt Hall. Hall doubled with 1 out in the third, and that was the first hit given up by Scarpetta. As I said, looking to the southwest, looked like maybe there's some rain out there in the distance, but the flags are limp. And weather.com says that the wind is blowing out of the southeast, not the southwest. So I think we're fine. First pitch by Scarpetta. Hall shows a bunt and rolls it up the third baseline. Miranda across to Halton for the out. 1, 2, 3 go the Stone Crabs at the top of the fifth. And after 4.5, it's the Charlotte Stone Crabs nothing and the Brevard County Manatees nothing. Well, we are an hour and 20 minutes into the game, and we're halfway through. And it's been as advertised between two of the top pitchers in the league in the last few weeks. Nick Barnese came in with the fifth lowest ERA in the league at 3.01. Cody Scarpetta had a 3.94 ERA, but as we've been talking about in his last 3 starts, he's been lights out, and he's now extended his scoreless inning streak to 21. In fact, going back before these last 3 starts we've talked about, on June 18th, his fourth to the last start, he allowed 1 run in 5 hits. So on the 18th, 1 run and 5 hits. Then on the 24th, 3 runs on 7 hits. The last 4 innings were shutout innings. July 2nd, 5 shutout innings, only 1 hit, struck out 8, walked 2. And on July 8th, 7 shutout innings, gave up only 3 hits, struck out 11, and walked 1. So whatever got into Cody, he's clicking in. Nick Barnese now on the mound, trying to match Scarpetta in a scoreless duel. D.H. Sean Zaraga leads it off in the bottom of the 5th. He's followed by Sean McCraw, the catcher, and then the top of the lineup with Josh Prince. Zaraga singled lead off the bottom of the 3rd. First pitch by Barnese is swung on, and it's a foul ball over on the third base side. Leads the stadium, and it counts 0-1. Zaraga came in batting .287. The deliberate windup and pitch by Barnese, breaking ball, swung on and missed. The count goes 0-2. 0-2 pitch by Barnese. Fastball high and away, and the count is 1-2. 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed on an off-speed pitch, strike 3. I think that was a changeup. That's the 6th strikeout for Nick Barnese, matching the total of Cody Scarpetta. Cody has walked 1, where Barnese has not walked anybody, although he did hit a batter. All right, first pitch to Sean McCraw, inside corner, strike 1. McCraw singled his first time up. Came in 3 for 13, only recently arrived here in Brevard. 0-1 pitch. It's going to be a line drive into right center field. Racing over is Velasquez. He'll have to take it on a hop. So Sean McCraw is 2 for 2.
Now batting the shortstop, number 17, Josh Prince.
We go back to the top of the lineup to the shortstop, Josh Prince, who's grounded out to second and struck out. I haven't had a chance to check with manager Bob Missick, but it appears that Sean McCraw has replaced Anderson De La Rosa as one of the 3 catchers. De La Rosa is now listed as a coach. First pitch to Prince is grounded foul past Missick down the third baseline, 0-1. McCraw at first has not attempted to steal a base yet since he's arrived in Brevard. Being held on at first by Sheridan. Josh Prince could go the other way, big hole on the right side. 0-1 pitch is a fastball and is taken high, 1-1. As we said, the home plate umpire, Luke Hamilton, has a very generous strike zone, so We have to pause a little bit. He seems to take his time. There's a pickoff attempt, and it goes down the right field line, and heading to second base is McCraw. He stumbles coming around the bag. I think he had some notion about trying for third, but he stumbled a couple of steps short of the bag, and that'll keep him at second. It'll be an error on the pickoff attempt, I'm sure, to be charged to Nick Barnice, because he bounced that pickoff throw, and it got past the first baseman Sheridan down the right field line. There's a lot of foul territory here, as we've talked about. So plenty of room for that ball to roll, and I think that was part of the reasoning behind McCraw trying to round second and hit the afterburners for third. But as I said, he stumbled. Discretion being the better part of valor, he held up at second. Well, in a pitcher's duel, no score in the bottom of the fifth. McCraw's run could turn out to be very significant, and an errant pickoff throw could come back to haunt Barnice. Count 1-1 to Prince. The pitch is a fly ball into short center field. Racing in is Velasquez, calling for it, and he has it for the second out.
Now batting, the second baseman, number 3, Matt Klein.
So with 2 down, that'll bring up second baseman Matt Klein, who grounded to short and was hit in the noggin by a pitch his last time up. But it hit him in the helmet, and even though the ball bounced quite high, it didn't seem to affect him at all. He just tossed the bat aside and went down to first, and seems to be absolutely fine. Barnice's first pitch, breaking ball, hits the outside corner, strike one. As we said before, Barnice leads the league in hitting batters, and Klein leads batters in being hit. These two were made for each other. Sort of like dodgeball. 0-1 pitch. Fastball hits the outside corner, 0-2, and now Barnice 1 pitch from getting out of the inning. Outfielders at average depth for Klein, and the 0-2 pitch is a changeup left up high, and the count goes 1-2. Merle in left, Velasquez in center, and Franck in right. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball. It's a fly ball into center field. Giving ground is Velasquez. He has it for the final out. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 left. And after 5, it's the Charlotte Stonecrabs nothing and the Brevard County Manatees nothing. Well, they're letting the dogs out there in left center field, as they do after 5 innings here. Every game at Space Coast Stadium is they open a gate just to the left of the center field batter's eye, and fans can race across the diamond from the center field fence to a gate just beyond the visiting team's dugout on the third base side. One of the Charlotte players is gritting the players as he comes in. He's wearing number 28. Let me see if I can tell who that is. That would be reliever Neil Shank. Well, actually, he was trying to get past the line of kids so he could walk down to the bullpen. That's where he's headed. I thought he was just being friendly. He was trying to get through the line of kids. But in any case, anybody can go out there and run. It's mostly children, but you do get a few adults out there, no doubt. Keep an eye on their kids and the occasional teenager. And it's always an adventure, because every once in a while you have an accident out there. Maybe children collide or fall down, or the manatee, our mascot Manny the manatee, goes snout first. Well, the night is over for Cody Scarpetta after 5 innings. No runs, extending his scoreless inning streak to 21. He gave up just 2 hits, struck out 6, and walked 1. And the new pitcher is going to be number 25, left-hander Daniel Meadows. Daniel making his 28th relief appearance of the year. 3-3 with a 3.22 ERA. In 58 2/3 innings, he struck out 57, almost 1 strikeout inning. walked 15. He's given up 6 home runs. The league is batting .254 against him. So southpaw Daniel Meadows comes on to relieve Cody Scarpetta here in the top of the 6th.
Leading off this inning for the Snowcrats, the left fielder, number 1, Christopher Earl.
Well, it's interesting that Cody Scarpetta was pulled after 5. He had a 6-day rest since his last start on July 8th when he worked 7 innings. Before that, when he threw 5 innings of 1-hit shutout ball, he worked only 5. And before that, 7. His 2 starts before that, 5 each. So hopefully that was just a pitch count thing and he's fine and done for the night. All right, top of the 6th, still no score. Top of the lineup for Charlotte. Chris Merle leading it off against Meadows, and the first pitch misses away, 1-0. Third baseman Sergio Miranda was charging at third in case Merle thought about a bunt. He struck out and singled. Lefty against lefty, and the next pitch is a line drive to right field. Giving some ground is Krieger, now coming back in for the out. I think Scott Krieger in right field thought the ball was going to carry more than it did, but it died on him. So with 1 out, that'll bring up the shortstop Tim Beckham. 0 for 2, grounded out to short and struck out. First pitch by Meadows. Fastball down the middle, strike 1. We said earlier, Beckham, number one pick overall in the 2008 draft by Tampa. 0-1 pitch, swung on and missed on a changeup, and the count's 0-2. Independent analyst John Sickles wrote of Beckham that he had a mediocre season in the South Atlantic League last year, making 43 errors in the field. 0-2 pitch, fastball misses away, 1-2. Sickles continues her positive spin. Scouts say he still projects as a very impressive hitter once he matures due to his bat speed and sound swing. But came into this game batting only .223. 1-2 pitch, it hit him. Looked like it got him on the back. And Beckham goes down to first.
Now batting the designated hitter, number 18, Stephen Vogt.
For Daniel Meadows, that is the 3rd batter that he's hit this year. So with 1 out and Beckham on first, that'll bring up the number 3 hitter, Stephen Vogt, who struck out looking and popped out to left. Beckham at first, definitely a threat to go. 15 for 22 in stolen bases. Lefty Meadows looking over at first, and the first pitch, fastball outside corner, strike 1. Daniel's delivery on that first pitch definitely fooled Beckham because he was going back to first as Meadows delivered to home. There's a token toss over to first, and Beckham walks back into the bag. Meadows just played catch with Sean Halton on that one. 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball sweeps away, and the count is 1-1. Well, upon further review on the appeal, it's called a strike as Vogt started to go around. The home plate umpire, Luke Hamilton, indicated it did not. Catcher Sean McCraw asked for an appeal. The fans in the stands asked for an appeal, and finally infield umpire Alan Alvarez called it a strike. So the count's 0-2. Meadows pitch, fastball up high, and the count is 1-2. The Manatees again on the infield. Sergio Miranda at third. Josh Prince at short. Matt Klein at second, and Sean Halton at first. Holding on the runner, Tim Beckham. There's a throw to first. He's got him picked off. Halton erasing Beckham over to second, and then finally tags him himself. Josh Prince was standing there ready for a throw. Beckham came to a stop and Halton just came up right behind him and tagged him between the twos on his back. So Beckham has gone 1-3. And Stephen Vogt is at the plate with a 1-2 count. 2 down, top of the 6th, no score. Lefty against lefty. Meadows' pitch. Breaking ball, he swings and just gets a piece of it and fouls it back into the net. The count remains 1-2. Once again, if you want to give us an email with whatever's on your mind, email address is home@spacecoastbaseball.com, or go to the Space Coast Baseball homepage and click where it says to email. 1-2 pitch is a fly ball the opposite way down the left field line. Brock Kelgard, racing over towards the foul line, has the 2 steps in fair territory for the final out. No runs, no hits, a hit batter raced on a pickoff, and nobody left. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Goose eggs on both sides. Charlotte Stonecrafts, nothing, and the Brevard County Manatees, nothing. If you missed any part of this webcast, it is being archived, and it will be available in its entirety in the morning on the SpaceCoastBaseball.com homepage. We've been talking about the life and times of George Steinbrenner, and when we left off, we had talked about he had just taken over in 1973, and the first purge began, and another controversial incident occurred after the 73 season, after manager Ralph Houck resigned. Steinbrenner tried to hire former Oakland Athletics manager Dick Williams, who had resigned immediately after leading the team to its 2nd straight World Series title. But Williams was still under contract to Oakland, and the subsequent legal wrangling prevented the Yankees from hiring him. So instead, Steinbrenner hired former Pittsburgh Pirates manager Bill Verdon to manage the team in 1974. As you know, he became famous for his rapid turnover of managers. In his first 23 seasons, Steinbrenner changed managers 20 times. Billy Martin was fired and rehired 5 times. He also employed 11 general managers over 30 years. Billy Martin famously said of Steinbrenner and outfielder Reggie Jackson that the two were meant for each other. One's a born liar, and the other's convicted. The conviction reference had to do with the fact that Steinbrenner was convicted for making an illegal campaign contribution to Richard Nixon's 1972 presidential re-election campaign. He pleaded guilty to making illegal contributions and to a felony charge of obstruction of justice. He was personally fined $15,000, and then Commissioner Bowie Kuhn suspended him in 1974 for 2 years, but later reduced it to 15 months. All right, bottom of the 6th, still no score. Eric Komatsu leading it off against Nick Barnes, who winds on the first pitch, shows bunt, and instead it's taken 1-0. The third baseman, Sexton, was charging as soon as Komatsu showed bunt. Eric will be followed by Sean Halton and Sergio Miranda. Sexton is still a step or two in on the grass, and the 1-0 pitch is swung on and fouled back into the net, and the count is 1-1. Well, Cody Scarpetta is gone for the night. Nick Barnes still on the mound, and we can see the visitors' bullpen down the left field line. It runs parallel behind the left field wall. A couple of guys poking their heads over the fence, but nobody warming up. This pitch is a fly ball into center field. Velasquez coming in a couple of steps, and he has it for the first out. The last 3 outs by the Manatees have been fly balls to Velasquez in center field. So with 1 out, that'll bring up Sean Halton, who struck out looking and grounded to first. Halton is second in home runs in the team with 7, second only to Brock Kelgard. But Barnes has given up only 2 home runs this year. Halton calls time and steps out. As we said before, we cannot see the Manatees bullpen. First pitch is a fastball that misses, and the count's 1-0. Next pitch by Barnes is Foul ball right back into the net, and the count is 1-1. Outfielders playing deep for Halton. 1-1 pitch. Fly ball down the right field line. It's going to hook foul and go into the last row of the aluminum bleachers down the right field line. 1-2 pitch by Barnese. Big breaking ball that misses inside, and it counts 2-2. Quite frankly, I was expecting home plate umpire Luke Hamilton to call that a strike because his strike zone has been so generous, up, down, left, and right. Swung on and missed on a curveball, and Sean Halton has gone swinging, or has gone for the second time on a strikeout. He struck out looking in the second, grounded out to first in the third. So that's his second strikeout. And that'll bring up a guy that's hard to strike out, Sergio Miranda, who's the third toughest strikeout in the league. He's singled and flied out to center field. First pitch by Barnese shows a bunt, and it's on the inside corner, strike one. Next pitch is inside, and in fact it caught a piece of Sergio, and he's going to head down to first. That's the second batter that Barnese has hit in this game. As we said, he leads the league in hitting batters. Matt Klein was number 13, and Sergio Miranda becomes number 14. They're in the sixth inning in the AAA All-Star game. The PCL still leading the International League 1-0. Miranda goes. First pitch is a little blooper up the middle, and the shortstop Beckham is there for the final out. Now with a little dying shot that curled to the second base side of the bag, but Beckham was there for the out. And for the Miranda family down in Puerto Rico, in case you're wondering, he's pointing. Manager Bob Nissick came over to check on him, and he's pointing to where the pitch hit him, right above his right elbow, up on the muscle. He's fine, of course. It's just going to be bruised tomorrow, and probably see an imprint of some stitches on his arm, but he seems to be okay. Left-hander Daniel Meadows on for his second inning of work and relief. In the sixth, he got a couple of fly balls, hit a batter that he erased on a pickoff. After six, still no score here between the Charlotte Stone Crabs and the Brevard County Manatees. And I know we've been talking about George Steinbrenner passing, but before the game is over, I want to talk a little bit about the history of the Charlotte Stone Crabs. Not because they have a lot of history, but actually the franchise itself moved to Charlotte in 2009. And before that, the franchise was in Vero Beach. It was the Vero Beach Dodgers from 1980 to 2006. And then when the Dodgers, after all those years, moved their advanced Class A affiliation out of Vero to elsewhere, it became the Tampa Devil Rays affiliate in 2007 and 2008. And then the franchise was moved to Charlotte for the 2009 season.
For the Charlotte Stone Crabs, the third baseman, number 35, Greg Sexton.
Top of the seventh, no score. Greg Sexton will lead it off. He'll be followed by Reed Frank and Jake Jeffries. First pitch by Daniel Meadows. Fastball hits the outside corner, strike one. Flags are starting to pick up again a little bit in the outfield, and now they're pointing more to right. They were limp for a couple of innings, and now the wind is suddenly picking up just a little bit, blowing to the right. Did he check his swing? Yes, no. Went around for a strike. Well, these umpires are not generous on the appeal call, and you have to wait for the home plate umpire to say it's okay. And the infield umpire, Alan Alvarez, said he went around. So counts 0-2. Next pitch, swung on and missed. Fastball up in his eyes. Strike 3. First strikeout for Daniel Meadows. And that'll bring up the right fielder, Reed Frank, who walked and struck out. Bottom of 6 in the AAA All-Star game, the International League has taken a 2-1 lead in the bottom of 6. Meanwhile, here, first pitch taken for a strike, 0-1. Wind blowing a little bit stronger to right. Here's a ground ball foul down the first baseline. And the count is 0-2. As we said, the Charlotte Stone Crabs moved over from Vero to start the 2009 season. That franchise began in 1980 as the Dodgers affiliate, playing out of historic Dodgertown. The Dodgers came to Vero in 1948. Fastball left up high, and the count's 1-2. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball blocked by McCraw, and the count now 2-2. Dodgertown is no longer called Dodgertown. It's now called the Vero Beach Sports Village. And it's owned by Major League Baseball, which is using it for both amateur baseball training and for other events. Here's a little pop fly that Josh Prince is going to catch a couple of steps out on the outfield grass for the second out. If you want to see what Dodgertown is all about today, there is a website for the Vero Beach Sports Village. And that website is VB, as in Vero Beach, vbsportsvillage.com. I checked it today. It had an advertisement on the homepage for high school and college baseball spring training. First pitch by Meadows, taken on the outside corner for a strike by Jake Jeffries, who lined to shortstop and popped out to center field. Fastball hits the outside corner, and the count's 0-2. The Dodgers apparently owned the rights to the name Dodgertown and were unwilling to sell the word to Major League Baseball. Fastball misses away, and the count's 1-2. There were negotiations, but according to an article on the Baseball America website, there's a grounder down to short. Josh Prince takes it and throws it on first to Halton for the final out. So the Stone Crabs go 1-2-3 in the top of the 7th as to the stretch half of the 7th. Still no score. And real quickly, I'll let you listen to Take Me Out to the Ball Game, and then we'll get back to the discussion about Dodgertown.
Fans, we hope you're enjoying tonight's game. Don't forget that the Manatees take on the Charlotte Stone Crabs again tomorrow night at 7:05 on Karaoke Night. Come out and sing a song and have a chance to be named the Manatee Idol. Tomorrow night is also Thursday.
Bottom of the 7th, still no score. And the night is over for Nick Barnese as number 28, Neil Shank, comes in to pitch in relief.
Pitching change for the Charlotte Stonecrabs. Now pitching with number 28, Neil Shank.
So for Nick Barnese, 6 innings, no runs, 4 hits. Struck out 7 by my count. Did not walk anybody, but hit a couple of batters. So we're still in a pitcher's duel as we go to the bottom of the 7th, and coming on is left-hander Neil Shank, making his 28th relief appearance. 2-1 with a 1.69 ERA. 42 2/3 innings. He struck out 60, walked 11, and the league is batting just .236 against him. He's given up only 1 home run in those 42 2/3 innings. The Stonecrabs have an excellent bullpen. Not just Shank, but also Zach Quate. We might see tonight he has a 0.40 ERA. He's the closer. And Marquise Fleming, 2.08 ERA. Fleming and Quate and Shank were all in the Florida State League All-Star game that was played here at Space Coast Stadium on June 12th. Bottom of the 7th.
Leading off this inning for your Manatees, the right fielder, number 47, Scott Krieger.
It'll be the bottom 3 in the Brevard lineup. Right fielder Scott Krieger, followed by designated hitter Sean Zaraga and Sean McCraw. Krieger struck out and grounded to second. We were talking about Dodgertown and how the Charlotte Stonecrabs were formerly the Vero Beach Devil Rays for 2 years, and before that, the Vero Beach Dodgers. First pitch by Shank. It's the outside corner, strike 1. Minor League Baseball bought the Dodgertown complex in Vero Beach, but the Dodgers were unwilling to sell the name Dodgertown. 0-1 pitch. Fastball misses away, and the count is 1-1. According to an article published by Baseball America on April 9, it says that the Dodgers aren't holding on to the trademark Dodgertown for old time's sake. They brought the name Dodgertown with them to Los Angeles and are using it in various marketing efforts. Next pitch by Shank. Breaking ball hits the outside corner, and the count's 1-2. The article says that the club wants the area around Dodger Stadium to be known as Dodgertown rather than Chavez Ravine, even becoming the only major league team to get its own zip code. 1-2 pitch, fastball misses away, and the count's 2-2. The Dodgers have also encouraged their minor league affiliates to use the name in their marketing campaigns. Quoting from Dodgers VP of Communications Josh Ravitch, 2-2 pitch is laced the opposite way down the right field line into the stands foul. The count remains 2-2. According to the Dodgers Vice President of Communications, quote, "We do use the term Dodgertown throughout all of our minor league partners and in much of our advertising and promotional campaigns, and have been doing so since the start of 2009. So for now, it's known as the Vero Beach Sports Complex, Sports Village." Swung on and missed on a breaking ball, strike 3, and Scott Krieger goes down swinging.
Now hitting the designated hitter, number 13, Sean Zaraga.
So that'll bring up Sean Zaraga, who's singled and struck out. In August of 2008, the franchise, the Vero Beach Devil Rays, first pitch misses 1-0. In August of 2008, the franchise was sold to Ripken Baseball, and the Ripkens moved into Charlotte County, Florida. Ripken Baseball is a sales and marketing company based in Maryland that represents all the business and philanthropic efforts of Cal Ripken Jr. and his brother Bill Ripken. This pitch is swung on and fouled back on the first base side, and the count's 1-1. Quoting from RipkenBaseball.com, established in 2001, the mission of Ripken Baseball is to grow the game of baseball worldwide, the Ripken way. 1-1 pitch is a grounder through the wickets up the middle for a base hit. Got past Neil Shank, and neither shortstop Tim Becken nor second baseman Matt Hall could come up with it. Velasquez gets the ball in. So Sean Zaraga has his second hit of the night.
Now hitting the catcher, number 5,
One out runner on first, and that'll bring up the catcher Sean McCraw, who's singled twice. Manager Bob Missick coming down to the home plate umpire Luke Hamilton, and we're going to have a pinch runner for Zaraga. It's going to be number 9, Peter Fatse, Fatse.
Ladies and gentlemen, pitch running for your Manatees, number 9, Peter Fatse.
So Peter Fatse automatically becomes the designated hitter as a pinch runner for the DH Zaraga. Fatse, no stolen base attempts in the 4 games he's appeared in so far. McCraw batting left-handed, which means that he's got a big hole in the right side. First pitch misses 1-0. With the first baseman, Michael Sheridan, holding on. Fatse at first, that leaves a big hole in the right side for McCraw. There's a token toss over to first, and Fatse back standing. One-0 pitch by Shank. Checked his swing, but it's on the outside corner anyway, and the count's 1-1. Fatse, before he moved up here to Brevard, was with the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, and in 56 games was 8 for 10 in stolen bases. Last year in 63 games between Wisconsin and Helena, he was 5 for 10. 1-1 pitch, fastball misses away, and the count's 2-1. Might we see manager Bob Missick put on a hit and run here with 2-1 count, 1 out, and Fatse on first? Nice big hole over there on the right side if you're going to send a runner. Runner stays. The next pitch is a fastball and misses away. The count is 3-1. And Shank gets in more trouble, as we said. Charlotte has a very deep bullpen, but nobody warming up right now. There's another throw over to first, and Fatse again walks back into first base. Shank, left-handed pitcher, so obviously he's looking right at that runner. There's another throw back to first, and once again Fatse walks right in. We said the wind had been picking up, but now the flags have gone limp again. 3-1 pitch. Fastball misses. Ball 4. That moves Fatse into scoring position at second. McCraw is on first. He reaches for the 3rd time. He singled his first 2 times up.
Number 17, Josh Prince.
That takes us to the top of the lineup to Josh Prince, who's grounded out, struck out, and fly to center. Confab at the mound as the pitching coach Neil Allen comes out. Catcher Jake Jeffries and the entire Charlotte infield come out to meet on the mound. If there was nobody out, then you'd think that Josh Prince was quite likely to bunt to advance the runners, but with 1 out, not quite as likely, although he could certainly try to lay a bunt out down and try to beat it out for a hit. Crowd getting a little rowdy. They've watched this scoreless duel into the bottom of the 7th. Sexton at third, even with the bag. Shank looks back at the runner at second. The first pitch, fastball hits the outside corner, 0-1. Shank's velocity appears to be around the high 80s. Shakedown steps off the rubber. Looks like got a little bit of sweat in his eyes. And it is a muggy night outside. Looks back at the runner at second, and breaking ball is fouled back on the right side, and the count goes 0-2. Charlotte defense once again at Sexton at third, Beckham at short, Hall at second, and Sheridan at first. The outfield, Merle in left, Velasquez in center, Frank in right, with Jeffries behind the plate, and Schenk on the mound. Fotze leads off from second, McCraw over at first, not being held on. And the 0-2 pitch is lined past the diving second baseman Hall for a base hit. Coming around third, trying to score is Fotze. Here comes the throw, and he's going to be nailed. Well, manager Bob Nixick waving around Fotze to try to score from second off of the center fielder, Isias Velasquez. But Velasquez threw him out to the catcher Jeffries, 8-2. And that's the right call, because with one out in a scoreless duel in the bottom of the seventh, and you've got a fairly decent runner on second, you have to put the pressure on the defense. And basically, if Velasquez doesn't make a perfect throw and the catcher doesn't hold on to the ball, then the Manatees take the lead. So it was a good gamble, but now there's two down, and advancing to third on the throw is Sean McCraw. Josh Prince is on first base on the single, and that'll bring up second baseman Matt Klein. Single could still give the Manatees the lead in the first pitch. Fastball hits the outside corner. 0-1. Klein grounded to short, hit by a pitch, and flied out to center. Matt Klein came into the game with an on-base percentage of .398. There goes the runner at first, pitches outside, and no throw. That'll be a stolen base for Josh Prince. And at least Jeffries made a gesture as if he was going to throw down to second, but he held on to the ball, and sometimes an official scorer will rule defensive indifference and not credit a stolen base, but I would say in that situation Josh Prince is going to get the bag. 1-1 pitch, swung on and fouled to the backstop, and the count goes 1-2. Jeffrey was probably more concerned that a double steal might be on, that if he threw down to second to get Prince, that Sean McCraw might head for home. So instead he held on to the ball, because with two outs, all they have to do is get another out, and the inning's over. But a base hit here could score two. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball in the dirt, blocked by Jeffries, and the count goes 2-2. McCraw off of third. Prince off second. 2 down. Bottom of the seventh. No score. 2 down. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball is popped foul on the first base sign into the stands. And the count remains 2-2. The fans over there judiciously allowed the ball to hit a plastic seat first. I never understand why people try to catch a baseball barehanded. Schenk comes set. 2-2 pitch. Swung on, and it's a grounder down to third baseman Sexton to his left. Goes on to Sheridan at first for the final out. If Manny hit that just a little bit harder, it might have got past Sexton in the left field for a base hit, but the third baseman had plenty of time to get that ball for the final out. So no runs, 2 hits, a walk, no errors, and 2 left. We've gone 7 here at Space Coast Stadium. It's the Stone Crabs nothing and the Manatees nothing. We've been talking about the life and times of George Steinbrenner from time to time throughout the game, and we last left that subject. We were talking about the many turnovers in managers and general managers over the years. The article I'm reading from Wikipedia notes that another notable Steinbrenner policy was his military-style grooming code. All players, coaches, and male executives were forbidden to display any facial hair other than mustaches, except for religious reasons, and scalp hair could not be grown below the collar. Long sideburns and mutton chops were not specifically banned. And it says that the policy led to some unusual and comical incidents. The most infamous incident involving facial hair occurred in 1991, while George Steinbrenner had been suspended for an incident involving Dave Winfield, and we'll get into that. Even though Steinbrenner was suspended, the Yankee management ordered Don Mattingly, who was then sporting a mullet-like hairstyle, to get a haircut, and when Mattingly refused, he was benched. We'll get back to that in a bit. We have a pitching change. So Daniel Meadows is done for the night. He worked 2 shutout innings in the 6th and the 7th, struck out 1, walked none, gave up only a hit batter. The new pitcher is number 44, Jeremy Jeffress. Jeremy making his 5th relief appearance. No wins, no losses, a 3.38 ERA. 5 1/3 innings, 8 strikeouts, 6 walks. He's given up 2 hits, and the league batting just 105 against him in those 4 appearances. In the top of the 8th, it'll be Isaias Velasquez, followed by Michael Sheridan and Matt Hall. Velasquez 0 for 2, flied out to right and grounded out. First pitch by Jeffress is a fastball at 94 miles an hour, strike 1. Sergio Miranda was right at the lip of the grass on that first pitch. He takes about a step back, and the 0-1 pitch is swung on and fouled back to the net, 0-2, and that one registered at 97. Jeremy Jeffress is considered one of the top pitching prospects in the Brewers system. 0-2 pitch. Whoa, up and in at 99 miles an hour. There's about maybe 6 inches between that fastball and Mr. Velasquez's chin. Up and in is usually followed by down and away. And there's the 1-2 pitch, big breaking ball, and misses high and away, and it counts 2-2. The catcher, Sean McCraw, was set up down and away, but the ball was higher than he wanted it. Miranda at third, now behind the bag on the line, and the 2-2 pitch swung on and missed, strike 3, 96 mile an hour fastball. So the first strikeout for Jeremy Jeffress, and that'll bring up the first baseman, Michael Sheridan, who struck out and flied out to center field. Now, you might be wondering why one of the top pitching prospects in the Brewer system is working in setup relief here in Brevard. That reason has been chronicled quite a bit over the last couple of years, and I really don't want to belabor the point that much. First pitch, fastball, 97, misses away, 1-0. But very quickly, Jeremy, quite frankly, has had a substance abuse problem with marijuana over the last couple of years. Fastball swung on, it's grounded foul down the first baseline, and it counts 1-1. Radar hit 96. He's already been suspended 3 times. The first time under Major League Baseball rules, you get counseling. The second time, you get a 50-game suspension. And the third time, you get a 100-game suspension. And he served his 100 games last year and earlier this year. 1-1 pitch is fouled back into the net at 97 miles an hour, and it counts 1-2. If he's caught one more time, then he's banned for life from organized baseball, which would mean nowhere in Major League Baseball or their minor league affiliates, although he could still go to independent ball, or he could go to Japan or Taiwan or Korea or any other place that's hiring professional ball players. 1-2 pitch, fastball, 99, and misses away. That counts 2-2. I don't know what happens with this radar. If it goes over 100, because the scoreboard can only show 2 digits, whether that's going to show 99, 00, 01, I don't know. 2-2 pitch is a line drive down the right field line. If it's fair, it's going to be into the corner, and it's foul. Well, as we said, the stadium horseshoe shaped, but as you get down into the corners, there's only a couple of feet between the foul lines and the stands, and that ball somehow managed to find its way into that narrow sliver of foul territory down the right field line. So in any case, Jeremy Jeffress is just coming back from that 100-game suspension, and he worked a couple of games in low A in Wisconsin and then moved up here to Brevard. Actually, Jeremy, according to one article I read, spent the winter here in Brevard County. 2-2 pitch, swung on and missed. The ball gets away from McCraw, and it rolls over towards the Charlotte dugout. So credit a strikeout to Jeffress, but on the pass ball, Sheridan is going to be on first. Well, I don't see an error posted on the board, so I don't know whether that's going to be an error or a passed ball, an error on the catcher. Like I said, we have to go to minorleaguebaseball.com and wait for them to post the official scoring, and that should take about 5 minutes or so. All right, number 9 hitter Matt Hall at the plate. Runner on first, 1 out. First pitch by Jeffress, swung on and missed, 94 miles an hour, and the count's 0-1. Hall batting right-handed, and Miranda right there on top of the bag at third to keep it from going down the line. 0-1 pitch is a hard grounder on a couple of hops to the second baseman. Klein turns and goes to the shortstop Prince for 1 on to first. Double play! No runs, no hits. Looks like an error charge to the catcher McCraw, letting the strike 3 get away to Sheridan, but he's erased on the double play, so nobody left. We go to the bottom of the 8th. There's still no score between the Stone Crabs and the Manatees. So once again, I'll have to go to MILB.com under scoreboard, go to the Florida State League, and look up the play-by-play for the Charlotte Brevard County game, and as soon as they post what the official ruling was on that play at the plate, I'll let you know. Or you can look it up yourself. You don't need to rely on me. The MILB scoreboard is still in the top of the 7th, so they haven't even posted the bottom of the 7th yet. As we go to the bottom of the 8th and there's no score, once again, if you want to email and pass along any thoughts or questions you have about this pitcher's duel, the email address is home@spacecoastbaseball.com. Neil Shank on the mound for Charlotte for his second inning of work. As we go to the bottom of the 8th. The Manatees had him on the ropes in the 7th. And in fact, they tried to score a runner. Pinch runner Stephen Fossey was on second with 1 out and tried to score on the base hit by Josh Prince, but was thrown out at the plate by the center fielder, Isias Velasquez. We figured this was going to be a good game. Charlotte with the best overall record in the league. Between the first half and the second half, the Stone Crabs 51-37 with a 58% winning percentage. And the Manatees have won 5 out of their last 6 games.
Leading off this inning for your Manatees, the center fielder, number 8, Eric Kamatsu.
The Manatees in the bottom of the 8th send up the 3-4-5 hitters. Eric Kamatsu followed by Sean Halton and Sergio Miranda. Kamatsu 0 for 3, fouled out to third, struck out, and flied out to center field. The third baseman, Sexton, playing a good 20 feet off the bag at third. About even from the bag, doesn't seem like he's looking for a bunt. First pitch is A little looper over to Sexton, a third over his head. The shortstop Beckham catches it highlight style as he crosses the foul line for the first out.
Now hitting the first baseman, number 24, Sean.
Beckham had the better angle on that. Sexton was going back like a wide receiver trying to catch the ball over his shoulder, but Beckham, coming from the side, had a better angle on it and took it for the out. One down, and that'll bring up Sean Halton, who struck out looking, grounded to first, and struck out swinging in the sixth. First pitch by Shank. Checked his swing. Did he go around? No. 1-0. 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball misses away, and the count's 2-0. You almost kind of wonder if maybe this scoreless duel will be decided by a bolt of lightning, that somebody will hit a bomb. 2-0 pitch, fastball misses away, 3-0. Shank hit 90 on that one. His fastballs have generally been in the upper 80s, but that one hit 90 on the radar. 3-0 pitch. Off-speed pitch is swung on, and it's fouled down the right field line. It's going to hook foul and leave the stadium. Count 3-1. We have a crowd of maybe about 1,000 tonight, but they've been pretty noisy. And in this spring training home of the Washington Nationals with a capacity of 7,500, it takes quite a bit to make a lot of noise, enough to make it mean something. There's a pitch outside, ball 4. So Halton is on first with 1 out, and that'll bring up Sergio Miranda. Halton at first, not a big base stealer. He's 1 for 2. Miranda, switch hitter, batting right-handed against the southpaw Shank in the first pitch. Fastball misses away, 1-0. Sexton at third, still playing a good 20 feet off the bag. And a lot of times you'll see the corner infielders playing on the lines to keep a ball from getting down into the corners for extra bases, but not this time. There's a fastball in the outside corner, and the count is 1-1. Miranda stepping out after each pitch and looking at manager Bob Missick coaching at third. Halton being held on at first by the first baseman Sheridan. Next pitch swung on and missed, and the count 1-2. Shank comes set, and the 1-2 pitch. Fastball misses way away, and the count's 2-2. They're stirring in the Charlotte bullpen. Somebody up standing, but not throwing. 2-2 pitch. Swung on, gets just a piece of it, and leaves it foul right in front of the plate. And the count remains 2-2. As we said, Sergio, third toughest batter to strike out in the league. 2-2 pitch. Swings and hits it the opposite way down the right field line. Going into the corner is the right fielder Franck for the out. Holding at first is Halton.
Now hitting the left fielder, number 33, Brock Telgard.
So with 2 down, that'll bring up left fielder Brock Telgard, who's 0 for 3. Reached on a fielder's choice, struck out looking, and popped out to short. But Brock does lead the team in home runs with 8, and if we're looking for that bolt of lightning, he's the most likely candidate. First pitch by Shank. Fastball low, blocked by the catcher Jeffries, and the count is 1-0. Outfielders playing pretty deep for Brock. Halton taking a very modest lead over at first, and Shank really hasn't been paying that much attention to him. Next pitch. Fastball misses away, and the count's 2-0. 2-0 pitch is a fly ball in the left center field, giving ground is Velasquez in the alley, but he has it for the final out. No runs, no hits, a walk, and 1 left, and we go to the 9th. The Stonecrafts, no runs, 2 hits, 1 error. The Manatees, no runs, 6 hits, and 1 error.
This is the Magazine
Jeremy Jeffress coming to the mound for his second inning at work. And again, I don't want to belabor the whole suspension thing because that's been done ad nauseum in all the trade magazines and newspapers as he's moved up and down, and I'm sure he's sick and tired of hearing about it, and I'm sure his family is too. So we've covered that, and let me get into what the prospect books have to say about Jeremy Jeffress. Despite his problems, Baseball America coming into this year ranked him still the number 21 prospect overall in the Brewers system. The prospect handbook written in the spring said that Jeffress has as much sheer talent as any prospect in the system. The 16th overall pick in the 2006 draft and recipient of a $1.55 million bonus, he has one of the most powerful arms in the minors. His fastball sits in the mid-90s and has reached 100 miles an hour. His heater lacks life, by that they mean movement. But he throws it so hard and with such an easy motion that he blows it by hitters before they know what happened. Jeffress throws from a high three-quarters angle that makes his big breaking curveball tough to hit when he throws for strikes. He has yet to come close to mastering his changeup control or command, so his future may lie in the bullpen. And that's Baseball America's review on Jeremy Jeffress. Top of the ninth, no score. Top of the lineup for Charlotte, it'll be Chris Murrell, followed by Tim Beckham and Stephen Vogt. Murrell struck out, singled, and flied to right. Sergio Miranda, the third baseman, right at the lip of the grass, in a step or two from the bag. And the first pitch by Jeffress is a bunt that's popped up in the air, but it's going to land foul. Catcher Sean McCraw went the other way. He turned to the third base side thinking the ball was over there. Actually, it was over on the first base side, and Jeffress saw it, but he couldn't get to it in time. So the count's 0-1. Murrell bats left-handed against the righty Jeffress. 0-1 pitch. Swung on, gets just a piece of it, and it rolls foul towards the Manatees dugout on the first base side. Must have got a piece of Sean McCraw because he's down on his knees behind home plate. The Brevard trainer comes out to take a look at him, and meanwhile the home plate umpire, Luke Hamilton, takes a casual walk out towards Jeffress to say, "How you do?" to allow McCraw a chance to walk off and boo-boo. It looks like maybe it caught him on the right knee. He seemed to be favoring the right leg more than the left leg. And the Manatees, and it doesn't look like we're going to lose Sean McCraw by any means, but if we did, the Manatees carry three catchers on the roster. Sean Zaraga, the other catcher most of the time, started the game as a designated hitter, but left for a pinch runner. And the third catcher would be Michael Roberts. Count 0-2 to Murrell. Jeffress pitch. Swung on it, it's bounced with a couple of hops to Miranda. Great play to his left on to Halton for the out. We're in the middle of the summer, and this field is starting to get a little bit baked, which means you get higher hops and the occasional odd hop. Sergio ranging far to his left on that second hop. It looked like it was going to take a bit of an odd spin, but Sergio stayed with it and went on to Halton at first for the out. So with one out, that'll bring up the shortstop, Tim Beckham. 0 for 2 and hit by a pitch. First pitch, breaking ball sweeps away, and the count's 1-0. Beckham batting right-handed, and Miranda a couple of steps off the bag at third. 1-0 pitch, fastball 97 miles an hour that misses off the plate outside, and the count is 2-0. Someone is warming up now in the Charlotte bullpen. 2-0 pitch, fastball misses away, and the count's 3-0. Jeffress' velocity seems to be typically in the mid to high 90s. He's touched 99 a couple times. 3-0 pitch. Fastball down the middle at 95, and the count's 3-1. In the games we webcast this year, the radar gun mounted on a pole behind home plate most of the time seems to be pretty accurate. 3-1 pitch is lined off of Jeffress' glove into center field for a base hit. Jeremy just couldn't get that glove up fast enough. It rocketed past him into center field for a base hit. So Beckham is on first with a 1-out single. And that'll bring up the designated hitter, Stephen Vogt. Talking about the radar gun, every once in a while it will give us an anomalous reading, which will say something like 58 or 60 or something like that. And my guess is it's picking up the velocity of the catcher tossing the ball back to the pitcher, but it isn't being cleared from the system in time before the next pitch, is my guess. Fastball down the middle at 95, 0-1. But I haven't quite figured it out, and quite frankly, if you leave electronic equipment out in this hot and humid weather night after night, you got to figure sooner or later it's going to take its toll. Jeffress steps off the rubber, and Beckham takes a step back towards first. Tim Beckham at first, 15 for 22 in stolen base attempts in 2010, so he's definitely a threat to go, being held on by Halton. And there is a snap throw to first, and back barely in time is Tim Beckham. 0-1 pitch, swung on, and it's a foul ball down the third baseline off the tarp, and the count's 0-2. Vogt bats left-handed, so as long as Beckham is on first, he holds the first baseman there covering the bag, and it leaves a big hole on the right side for Vogt to pull the ball through. On the other hand, if Beckham can steal second, he's 90 feet closer to scoring the lead run here in the top of the ninth. 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike three. 98-mile-an-hour fastball. That is the 10th strikeout by Charlotte batters in this game. 6 by the starter, Cody Scarpetta, 2 by Daniel Meadows, and now 2 by Jeremy Jeffress. Greg Sexton steps in, 2 down. Beckham still on first. Jeffress' first pitch, fastball outside corner, strike one. Now there's an example of the anomaly on the radar gun, because it said that was 62 miles an hour. And I'm looking for a pattern that causes it to show that kind of a bizarre number. Haven't quite figured it out yet. 0-1 pitch, breaking ball outside corner, 0-2, and that says that was 57. I mean, that was not his fastball, but I guarantee you that wasn't 57 either. Now it says 78, which makes more sense. And again, like I said, my working theory is that it's picking up the velocity of the catcher's toss back to the pitcher after the prior pitch, and it just hasn't been cleared out of the system yet. 0-2 pitch. Fastball is lined into right field for a base hit. Scott Krieger takes it on a hop. Beckham not even stopping it, in for third, and he'll make it without a throw. So a few Charlotte fans behind the visitors' dugout applauding that hit by Greg Sexton. I don't know whether they drove over from Charlotte or they happen to be Tampa Bay Ray fans living here in Florida in the Space Coast. So runners at the corners with 2 down, and that'll bring up the right fielder, Reed Frank, who's walked, struck out, and popped out to short. Sexton at first, 1 for 2 in stolen base attempts. And I would think the Stonecrabs don't want him to go, because with Halton holding him at first, that it leaves that big hole in the right side for the left-handed batting Frank. Shows a bunt and misses it, and the count's 0-1. Trying to catch them napping with a 2-out bunt, maybe bunt for a base hit. Miranda at third, staying about even with the runner Beckham. 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball misses away, and the count is 1-1. Now, we told you that the Baseball America Prospect Handbook said that Jeffress fastball lacks life. What that basically means is it lacks movement. It comes in very straight. If he ever gets to the major leagues, big league hitters can hit a fastball if it's straight, even if it's 100 miles an hour. 1-1 pitch is a hard grounder foul down the first baseline, and the count goes 1-2. But at this level, he can probably get away with that with many of the hitters. Jeremy, one strike from getting out of the inning and taking this shutout duel into the bottom of the ninth. Beckham down the line from third. Sexton off of first. 2 down. And the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed on a breaking ball. Strike 3. Never would have guessed Jeremy Jeffress would do that. And Jeremy, as he came over the first baseline, he did the traditional thing, which was stepping over the chalk, and I think he wanted to kick at the dirt a little bit, taking pride in striking out that batter, not by blowing away, but by using curve. And instead, he stubbed his toe a little bit and almost tripped over his feet and seemed to look a little bit sheepish there. But in any case, that is the 4th strikeout in 2 relief innings for Jeremy Jeffress. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left. We go to the bottom of the ninth. It's the Stone Crabs nothing and the Manatees nothing. Well, coming into this game, I said that it profiled as a pitcher's duel, and somewhat cynically, I was telling people around the press box you watch it's going to turn out to be 13-12, and no, it's lived up to its billing for Charlotte. 9 innings, 0 runs, 4 hits, 1 error. For the Manatees, 0 runs, 6 hits, and 1 error. Neil Schenk is done for the night, so 2 innings of shutout relief work by him, no runs, 2 hits, 2 walks. He struck out just the 1 batter. And it'll be the Charlotte closer, Zach Quaid, coming on to pitch. Number 19, the right-hander. Quaid making his 30th relief appearance. The All-Star 1-1 with a 0.40 ERA. He has 15 saves and 16 save opportunities. 44 2/3 innings. Allowed, these numbers are unbelievable. Only 2 runs allowed in 44 2/3 innings. Struck out 59, walked 9, given up 23 hits. Has not allowed a home run. And the league batting just 152 against him. And you have to wonder, what's he doing here and not in Double-A? In the bottom of the ninth, it's the bottom 3 in the Brevard order. Scott Krieger, followed by the designated hitter Peter Foxe and the catcher Sean McCraw. First pitch by Quaid, outside corner, strike 1. Krieger struck out, grounded to second, and struck out. 0-1 pitch. Swung on and missed on an off-speed pitch, and the count goes 0-2. Outfield playing deep for Krieger. 0-2 pitch. He reaches out and pokes it down the right field line. It's going to fall in for a base hit. Fielding the ball is the right fielder Frank, and that holds Krieger to first with a leadoff single.
Now hitting the designated hitter, number 9, Peter Foxe.
So that'll bring up the DH Peter Foxe, who entered the game as a pinch runner in the 7th for Sean Zaraga. Quaid is not immortal. He does have 1 loss on his register, and he's 15 for 16 in save opportunities. So obviously, he had 1 opportunity to close a game that he lost. And I think we can pretty much rely on seeing Peter Foxe try to bunt here. In fact, Sexton charging at third. He shows bunt, and it rolls right back to Quaid, who goes on to second where the shortstop Beckham forces Krieger for the first out. So Krieger is erased 1-6. Reaching at first is Peter Fatse. And that'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Sean McCraw, who's singled twice and walked.
Now hitting the catcher, number 5, Sean McCraw.
Fatse left that. First of all, he hit the ball a little bit too hard. It rolled right back to the pitcher. And so not only did he hit a bit too hard, but he didn't put it really where you want it. You really want it to go up the lines, either first or third in that situation. So either the catcher or the first baseman, or the catcher or the pitcher rather, has to charge that ball, and it wastes time and gives enough opportunity for the runner to advance. Fatse off at first, and the first pitch by Quaid misses down and away, ball 1. As we said, Fatse at first does steal on occasion. 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball misses it down and away, and the count's 2-0. Sean McCraw has recently arrived here, and so they don't have a headshot of him yet for the scoreboard. So they have a picture of Tom Selleck up there from the 80s. 2-0 pitch. Fastball inside corner at 91, and the count's 2-1. McGraw batting left-handed against the right-handed Quaid. 2-1 pitch. Swung on. It's going to go up the alley in left center field for a base hit. It gets almost past Merle, but he cuts it off from going to the warning track, and heading to third is Fatse. I thought that had a pretty decent chance to get past the left fielder Merle and the center fielder Velasquez, but it died a little bit on the grass and allowed enough time for Merle to catch up to a time call, and pitching coach Neil Allen coming out to talk to Quaid as the catcher Jeffries and the entire infield come in to discuss the situation. Top of the lineup, Josh Prince at the plate. Winning run on third base with Peter Fatse at 1 out. Sean McCraw at first on the single. Of course, a double play gets Charlotte out of the inning. So they're discussing how the defense is going to work here. And even with the pitching coach out there to visit, I could see them pointing into the dugout where no doubt the manager was giving them some instructions on what to do. The entire infield now is drawn in right on the lip of the grass, and the outfielders are playing shallow. Of course, with them drawn in, a hard shot has a better chance of getting into the outfield. First pitch by Quaid. Breaking ball sweeps outside, and the count's 1-0. Prince grounded out to second, struck out, fly to center, and single. They're not holding on McCraw at first. 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball comes in on the inside corner, and the count 1-1. Josh Prince came in batting .253. His slugging percentage only .306, but they only need a single here to end the game. 1-1 pitch. Checked his swing, didn't go around on a breaking ball away, and the count's 2-1. If they walk Prince, it brings to the plate Matt Klein, who has an on-base percentage of nearly .400. But it's only the runner at third that really matters. 2-1 pitch. Swung on, and it's a grounder foul down the third baseline, and the count goes 2-2. Quaid coming set, looks over at the runner at third. And a 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Fastball had swept away from Prince. So that'll allow the infield to go back to a normal depth.
Now batting, the second baseman, number 3, Matt Klein.
And that'll bring up Matt Klein, who's 0 for 3 and been hit by a pitch. And as I said, Matt came in with an on-base percentage of .398, batting .293, and a single wins the game for the Manatees. Infield deep at second and short. Sexton even with Fosse coming off of third. The first baseman, Sheridan, playing in front of the runner, McCraw. Time called at home plate. Center fielder Velasquez is playing fairly shallow. Now he's taken a couple of steps back in center field, but they're still fairly shallow, left and right fielders as well. First pitch. Fastball misses outside, 1-0. A 1-0 pitch. Fastball off the corner, and it's 2-0. Jake Jeffries held it there, and he's looking over his shoulder and thought maybe he was saying something to Luke Hamilton, but I think really he's looking into the Charlotte dugout. In fact, the home plate umpire Hamilton looked into the dugout too, so I think there may have been some barking going on. 2-0. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed on an off-speed pitch, and the count goes 2-1. The Manatees have had Charlotte on the ropes a couple of times in this game and have been unable to score. Quake comes set. 2-1 pitch. Fastball hits the outside corner and the count's 2-2. And now Zach Quaid, arguably the best closer in the Florida State League. One pitch from wiggling off the hook and sending us into extra innings. Fosse at third. He's the winning run. McCraw at first, 2 down, no score, bottom of the ninth. 2-2 count on Matt Klein. Quaid looks over his shoulder at McCraw at first. Looks at Fosse at third, comes set, now steps off the rubber. Matt Klein stepping out and taking his time, rewrapping his batting gloves, as if he has not a care in the world. Quaid comes set. 2-2 pitch. Ooh, breaking ball way away and backhanded by the catcher Jeffries. If that had gone to the backstop, game over. So the count goes full. Quaid does not have to throw a strike. Worst case scenario, if he walks Klein, the bases are loaded, but it's still 2 down. And Eric Komatsu coming up. Three-two pitch. Strike 3 call. Matt Klein just got tossed. And Bob Missick coming down to talk to the home plate umpire. Matt Klein took a pitch that looked like it was down the middle. The radar said 86 miles an hour. Matt took off for first, trying to sell it. The umpire tossed him, as he must have said one of the magic words. Bob Missick immediately coming down to talk to Hamilton. The infield umpire, Alan Alvarez, kind of wandering over in that direction. Missick and Hamilton going nose to nose. So far, Bob hasn't said any of the magic words. Meanwhile, we're going to have a pitching change. Number 27, I believe that's Ruben Flores. So Jeremy Jeffress' night is done. Missick and home plate umpire still quite animated. Bob walking away. Still eligible to participate in this game, but in any case, the ninth inning ends, no runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. After 9, Charlotte, no runs, 4 hits, 1 error. The Manatees, no runs, 8 hits, and 1 error. For Jeremy Jeffress, he worked 2 innings, no runs, 2 hits, struck out 4, walked none. Ruben Flores, the 6'4", 170-pound right-hander, making his 16th relief appearance, 1-1 with a 3.26 ERA. He has 1 save. 19 and a third innings. He's struck out 19 but walked 17, not a good sign, and given up 18 hits. He's allowed 1 home run in the league, batting .261 against him. With Matt Klein tossed, Sergio Miranda has moved from third base to second base. And now in at third base is Juan Sanchez. So the first 9 innings were naught, no score between Charlotte and Brevard. In the top of the 11th, it'll be the catcher, Jake Jeffries, followed by Isaias Velasquez and Michael Sheridan. Jeffries 0 for 3, lined out to short, lined out to center field, and grounded out to short. Well, here we go again. Top of the 10th, no score. It's almost 10 o'clock here on the Space Coast. Flores working from the stretch with nobody on. And the first pitch, outside corner, strike 1. Just about to turn 10 p.m. 0-1 pitch is a bouncer up the first baseline, but it goes foul. So we're about 5 minutes short of the 3-hour mark in this game. What a classic duel this has been. Manatees hope to send the home fans happy. 0-2 pitch. Swung on and sliced foul down the left field line. Count remains 0-2. What I really wanted to say was the Manatees hope to send the fans home happy. 0-2 pitch by Flores. Leaves a fastball up and away, and the count is now 1-2. Nobody warming up in the Charlotte bullpen, so it would look like Zach Quaid is going to come out for a second inning of work. 1-2 pitch. Off-speed pitch bounced up the middle to his right as Sergio Miranda behind the bag. Long throw to first, not in time. It'll be an infield single for Jake Jeffries. Sergio Miranda had a long way to go to his right. He gloved the ball behind the bag, almost out on the outfield grass. Skidded just a little bit. Turned and threw to Halton at first, but not in time to get Jeffries. So the catcher is on with a leadoff single, and that'll bring up Isaias Velasquez, the center fielder, who's 0 for 3. Popped out to right, grounded out to second, and struck out. Bet you he's bunting. He does show a bunt and takes the pitch 1-0. Juan Sanchez, the third baseman, was charging, looking for the bunt, and he's still standing right now at the lip of the grass. Jeffries at first, 0 for 1 in stolen base attempts this year. There's a pickoff throw to first, but Jeffries back standing. You want to make sure that pickoff throw doesn't go down the right field line. Shows bunt again and takes it for a strike, and the count's 1-1. The Manatees defense, Sean Halton at first. It's now Sergio Miranda at second, Josh Prince at short, and Juan Sanchez at third, with Brock Kilgard in left, Eric Komatsu in center, and Scott Krieger in right. The catcher is Sean McCraw. And it's now Ruben Flores on the mound here in the top of the 10th. Another token toss to first. And back standing was Jeffries. 1-1 pitch, shows bunt again, and he stabs at it and pokes it foul. It goes to the backstop, and it counts 1-2. On deck is the first baseman, Michael Sheridan. It's going to be a long uphill slog for the Manatees because Charlotte has perhaps the best bullpen in the Florida State League. 1-2 pitch is another bunt. It's up the first baseline. Flores fields it, goes on to Halton at first for the out. So credit a sacrifice to Velasquez, and advancing to second is Jeffries. So with Jeffries on second and 1 out, that brings up the first baseman, Michael Sheridan. Struck out, flied out to center, and struck out but reached first on a pass ball. Runner takes his lead at second. The first pitch is swung on and missed. An 88-mile-an-hour fastball, 0-1. Michael Sheridan came into the game batting .240. But the second's toughest strikeout in the Florida State League. And his job really here is to pull the ball to the right side and advance Jeffries to third. He hits a flying ball, short pop fly on the right side. Ranging over towards the first baseline is Halton for the out. Sergio Miranda was right there. So Sheridan did get it to the right side, but he popped it up. And Jeffries at second was unable to advance. We're going to see a pinch hitter for Matt Hall. It's going to be number 9, Anthony Selfo, spelled S-C-E-L-F-O. Selfo batting .234. 43 for 184. 4 home runs, 15 RBI. Batting left-handed against the right-handed Flores. Ruben comes set, looks back at Jeffries off at second, who has a rather substantive lead in the first pitch of the fastball way and away, 1-0. Josh Prince at short was digging just a little bit because Jeffries was taking such a lead. Second baseman Miranda over a little bit more than normal on the second base side. 1-0 pitch is a fastball away. Count goes 2-0. Center fielder Komatsu, maybe about 10 feet away from direct center field. 2-0 pitch. Fastball down low, and the count's 3-0. And this is Ruben Flores' Achilles heel, that he tends to walk a lot of batters. 19 in the third innings, 19 strikeouts, 17 walks. 3-0 pitch. Fastball away, ball 4. So 4 straight wide ones to Selfo. He's on first with 2 down. Jeffries still at second. We go back to the top of the lineup to the left fielder, Chris Murrell. Struck out, singled, fly to right, and grounded to third. Bats left-handed against the right-handed Flores. Ruben comes set, looks back at Jeffries at second. And the first pitch, fastball misses away, 1-0. Velocity's around 90-91, but he's not hitting the outside corner or whatever target is he's trying to hit. 1-0 pitch is a line drive into center field for a base hit. Coming around third to score is Jeffries. The throw to the plate is not in time, and the runners advance to second and third. Sean McCraw did a good job of blocking the plate, but the throw was just a whisker late. So Jeffries scores on the single to make it 1-0 Charlotte. Murrell on the single advances to second on the throw. And Selfo advanced to second on the single and then to third on the throw. So Selfo on third, Murrell on second with 2 down, and Charlotte has taken a 1-0 lead here in the top of the 10th. Meeting at the mound, Fred Dabney, the pitching coach, out to meet with Flores, the catcher McGraw, and the third baseman Sanchez. Everybody else stayed on the infield dirt. It's a good throw by Eric Komatsu to make it close at the plate. I didn't think they had a chance to get Jeffries, even though he is a catcher and therefore slow-footed. And McCraw did a good job of blocking the plate, but throw was just a whisker late. All right, Tim Beckham at the plate with runners on second and third. First pitch by Flores. It gets past the catcher, McCraw, coming in to cover the plate is Flores, but no chance. As Selfo scores. As I've said many times, we do not get on the scoreboard here ruling of pass ball versus wild pitch. And I'm going to give that a wild pitch. And then if you check the recap on MILB.com, click on scoreboard, go to Florida State League. They should post the official ruling in about 5-10 minutes. Advancing to third on the wild pitch is Merle. Next pitch misses and the count goes 2-0. Oh, and the throw back to the pitcher gets past Flores, and coming in to score is Merle to make it 3-0. Now this is just getting plain sloppy. The home plate umpire and the batter, Beckham, are getting into it over something or another. I'm thinking maybe that they all got mixed up with one another when the ball got tossed back. I don't know. But they were yipping about something. In any case, I'm thinking that's probably an error on Flores, failing to pick up the ball when it was tossed back to him. Next pitch misses away and it counts 3-0. Well, the Manatees self-destructing here in the top of the 10th. They fought the best team in the league, the Charlotte Stone Crabs, toe-to-toe for 9 shutout innings, but falling apart here in the top of the 10th. Fastball 90 miles an hour, strike one. 3-1 pitch, taken, ball 4. So with Beckham on first and 2 down, that'll bring up the designated hitter, Stephen Vogt. Struck out looking, fly to left again, and then struck out swinging. Beckham at first, 15 for 22 in stolen bases this year. First pitch by Flores swung on and fouled on the third base side into the stands, and the count's 0-1. Well, some of the fans still trying to make some noise, but you can tell the air has been pretty much let out of the park. 0-1 pitch. Checks his swing and it rolls up the first baseline, but it's fielded in foul territory by Sean Halton in the runner's lane that starts about halfway up the line between home and first. That lane is there so that if there's a play around home plate, the runners are required to be in that lane so that the catcher, or if it happens to be the pitcher making the defensive play, have a clear shot at throwing to first. If the runner is on the wrong side of that lane and causes interference, he can be called out. 0-2 pitch. Gets just a piece of it and fouls it to the backstop, and the count remains 0-2. Flores 1 strike from getting out of a disastrous 10th inning. 0-2 pitch, down and in and blocked by McCraw, and the count goes 1-2. Well, down 3-0, assuming that Flores gets out of it here. As we said, Charlotte arguably has the best bullpen in the league, and they have arguably the best closer in the league coming back for a second inning of work. Time call at home plate. Now Flores comes set. And the 1-2 pitch is a little blooper, and it's going to fall into right field for a base hit. Round second is Beckham, and he's going to advance to third. Miranda threw over to first, trying to catch the batter Vogt asleep at first, and it got past Halton, and advancing to third was Beckham. That's going to be an error probably charged on Sergio Miranda, allowing that ball to get past Halton by making a poor throw. So give a single to Vogt that advances Beckham to second. And then Peckham advances to third on the throwing error by Miranda, with Volt holding on first. And a nightmare inning continues. Runners on first and third with 2 down, and a cleanup hitter, Greg Sexton, is at the plate. Sexton grounded to first, struck out twice, and singled. First pitch by Flores. Down low and blocked by McCraw, and the count's 1-0. Sounds like even the PA guy has had the air go out of his sails. He forgot to announce the batter. 1-0 pitch. A fly ball to center field. Eric Komatsu on his horse into right center field. He's got a one-hand it just short of the track for the final out. But the Stone Crabs put 3 runs on the board on 2 hits, 3 walks, a couple of errors, and 2 left. And as we go to the bottom of the 10th, the Stone Crabs take a 3-0 lead over the Brevard County Manatees. Well, Zach Quake coming back out for the bottom of the 10th. The Manatees had a shot at him in the bottom of the 9th. We may see a defensive change here as the Charlotte manager is out talking to the home plate umpire. We did have a pinch runner for the second baseman, Matt Hall. That was Anthony Selfo. And perhaps that's what that's about. Let's see who's now the second baseman. Selfo has had 36 games at second base, so you would assume it's probably him at second base, but I haven't had a chance yet to see the number of whoever's out there. But for now, we'll assume that's Anthony Selfo out at second base. In the bottom of the 10th, for the Manatees, it'll be Eric Komatsu, followed by Sean Halton and Sergio Miranda. The 3, 4, 5 hitters.
Leading off for the Manatees, center fielder, number 8, Eric Komatsu.
Eric 0 for 4, fouled out to third, struck out, flied to center field, and popped out to short. First pitch by Zach Quaid. Fastball outside corner, 0-1. Well, the fans who stuck this out, none of them appear, or very few appear to have left here as we go to the bottom of the 10th. 0-1 pitch, breaking ball misses away, and the count's 1-1. Crowd before early in the game appeared to be about 1,000, and it looks like most of them are still here. It's a pretty good turnout for the Florida State League on a Wednesday night. 1-1 pitch, breaking ball misses away, and the count's 2-1. Komatsu came in batting .311. There's a .393 on-base percentage. 2-1 pitch. Fastball hits the outside corner, and it's 2-2. Quake's velocity seems to be topping out around 90-91. 2-2 pitch. He is swung on and fouled back over the net and off the front of the press box to the left side, and the count remains 2-2. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball way away, and the count's 3-2. On deck, Sean Halton. 3-2 pitch. Swung on and fouled to the backstop, and the count remains 3-2. Quaid in 44 2/3 innings coming into this game and walked just 9 batters. But Komatsu's, one of his skills is working a pitcher, fouling pitches off, making contact. 3-2 pitch, swung on, and he fouls it down the third baseline. It's hooking into the aluminum bleachers, and the count remains 3-2. The wind has picked up just a little bit. It's blowing towards right field, somewhat slightly. 3-2 pitch, foul back right towards us, up to the left, off of the front of the PA box. And the count remains 3-2. Komatsu batting left-handed against the right-handed Quaid, who winds, and the 3-2 pitch is a pop fly into short center field, going out as the shortstop Beckham, who has it for the out. So that'll bring up the first baseman, Sean Halton. Struck out looking in the second, grounded to first in the third, and struck out swinging in the sixth. Walked in the eighth. First pitch by Quaid. Fastball at 93, but it misses away, 0-1. Well, I thought it missed away, but scoreboard says it was a strike, and we'll go with that, 0-1. Fastball hits the outside corner, 0-2. Nobody warming up in the Charlotte bullpen, so this one belongs to Quaid for now. 0-2 pitch. He's going to be lined into right center field for a base hit, taken on a couple of hops by the center fielder Velasquez. So Halton reaches on a one-out single, and that'll bring up Sergio Miranda.
Now hitting the third baseman, number 10, Sergio Miranda.
Sergio singled, flied out to center, hit by a pitch, and flied right. Manatees down by 3. They need base runners, so Sergio just needs to single or walk, get on base, and keep this going. First pitch down and in, 1-0. If Sergio can reach and advance Halton, that brings to the plate Brock Kelgard, who leads the team in home runs with 8. And he would represent the tying run. If. 1-0 pitch. Fastball down the middle, and it's 1-1. And the Manatees have one more miracle left in them. 1-1 pitch down and in, and the count goes 2-1. Halton with a slight lead off at first, and the 2-1 pitch swung on and fouled back into the net, and the count goes 2-2. Miranda being a switch hitter, he's batting left-handed against the right-handed Quaid, and that means with Halton on first being held on by Sheridan, then it leaves a fairly decent-sized hole for him, although the second baseman, Selfo, is shaded over a few steps towards first to close that hole. 2-2 pitch is swung on and missed, strike 3.
Now hitting the left fielder, number 33, Brock Kelgard.
So the Manatees are down to their final out, and that'll bring up left fielder Brock Kelgard, who reached on a fielder's choice, struck out looking, popped out to short, and flied out to center field. First pitch by Quaid. Breaking ball hits the outside corner, 0-1. The Charlotte outfield playing pretty deep for Brock. 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball misses outside, and the count's 1-1. 1-1 pitch. He checked his swing. Didn't go around, and the count's 2-1. Fastball missed outside. Manatees need a second base runner to bring the tying run to the plate. 2-1 pitch. Swung on, and it's a foul ball down the right field line. High arcing shot that lands up near the top of the aluminum bleachers. So Brevard is down to their final strike. Two and two. Halton off at first. Kelgard waiting for Zach Quaid's 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball, and it missed outside, and the count goes full, 3-2. Well, a walk's as good as a hit here. Quake takes a step off the rubber and time is called. If Brock can draw a walk, it advances Halton to second and brings Krieger to the plate, representing the tying run. Runner will be going, and the 3-2 pitch is swung on and has a little pop foul over on the first base side. And the count remains 3-2. What a ride this game has been. Manatees down to their final strike. 3-2 pitch by Quake. Swung on, it's a little pop foul that's going to clear the backstop net and fall in the seats over just to the right of us. Brock Kelgard shortening up on the bat just a little bit, trying to keep it alive. Quake calls for an exchange of baseballs, and the toss from the catcher goes over the head of Quake, but not far enough for Halton advance at first, and quite frankly, down 3 runs. Why take the risk? Halton's run only gets them closer. He doesn't tie or win the game, so no point in taking a risk there. He'll be running on this pitch. There he goes. 3-2 pitch. It's a grounder off the mound and takes a couple of weird bounces into center field for a base hit. Halton will go to third on the single by Brock Kelgard, and the Manatees are not dead yet. So that'll bring up Scott Krieger. Krieger came in batting .229, 6 home runs, 18 RBI. He struck out twice, grounded to second, and singled. Runners on the corners. The first pitch by Quake swung on. He gets just a piece of it, and it caught a rather sizable chunk of the catcher, Jake Jeffries, who's down on his knees looking for worms behind home plate. Out comes the Charlotte trainer. Well, we saw earlier Sean McCraw took one, what appeared to be right above the right kneecap, and at first glance it appears the same thing happened to Jake Jeffries. And home plate umpires and catchers share a common bond. They know what it's like to get bit by a baseball, and an umpire will just walk away from home plate and go say hello to the pitcher to allow the catcher an opportunity to regain his dignity. And if an umpire gets hurt, the catcher often will go for a stroll out to the mound and allow the umpire to return to some semblance of normalcy. The Charlotte trainer still checking out Jake Jeffries. It's not likely he's going to leave the game. He's just trying to recover his wits. And he's shaking his right hand, so maybe the ball bounced not off his knee, but maybe off of his throwing hand. Seems to be squeezing it a little bit as if he's trying to get the feel back, and in fact, he's playing a little bit of toss with Zach Quake just to see if he can throw. Indicates he's fine. One token toss is enough. All right. Scott Krieger steps back in with the count 0-1. Sean Halton on third. Brock Kelgard on first. 2 down. Manatees trailing Charlotte 3-0 here in the bottom of the 10th. Outfielders playing straight away for Krieger. 0-1 pitch. Swung on, bounced up the middle. It's going to be a base hit. In to score is Halton. Stopping at second is Kelgard. And the Manatees now trail 3-1. So that'll bring up the designated hitter, Peter Foxy, who entered the game in the 7th as a pinch runner. In his only at-bat of the night, he reached on a fielder's choice. Actually, he bunted, and he bunted it back to the mound, and the throw went to the shortstop to erase the runner, Krieger, so he reached on that fielder's choice. It was a failed sacrifice attempt. Neil Allen, the pitching coach for the Charlotte Stonecrabs, comes out for a conference at the mound, and Foxy takes advantage of that to go down and talk to manager Bob Nissick, coaching at third. And I would think that the instructions here are rather simple. Don't make an out. He does theoretically represent the winning run. Fossey in 2009 and 228 at-bats, just one home run. And with Wisconsin, before he was called up, he had 3 home runs. First pitch misses down low, ball 1. With the Timber Rattlers in 56 games, 212 average and 179 at-bats, 3 home runs, 9 doubles, 6 triples. Runners off first and second, and the 1-0 pitch is swung on. He gets just a piece of it and rolls towards the on-deck circle where catcher Sean McGraw fields it. Count 1-1. Quake comes set, looks back at Kelgard at second. Krieger off first. He's not being held. The next pitch is down and in, and the count is 2-1. Still nobody warming up in the Charlotte bullpen. 1 run, 11 hits for the Manatees tonight, and that tells the tale. They had plenty of opportunities to knock out Charlotte, but never converted. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count's 3-1. Well, we're 2 minutes short of the 3:30 mark in this game. Will we have more? Here's the 3-1 pitch. Swung on. It's a fly ball in center field, but it's going to hold up for Velasquez for the final out. Fossey hit it on a line, but didn't pull it enough for it to fall for a base hit. So the Manatees made a run at it at the bottom of the 9th, but fall 3-1. The line for Charlotte, 3 runs, 7 hits, 1 error. The Manatees, 1 run, 11 hits, and 3 errors. The win will go to Zach Quate in relief. He'll be 2-1. And the loss will go to Ruben Flores in relief. He'll fall to 1-2. Well, that's the end of Game 1 of this 4-game series tonight against the Charlotte Stone Crabs. Game 2 tomorrow night here at Space Coast Stadium at 7:05 p.m. and then Game 3 Friday night at 7:05. And the final game in the 4-game series Saturday night at 7:05. After that, the Manatees go on the road. 4 games in Palm Beach against the Cardinals starting Sunday at 5:05. The Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday games are at 7 p.m. After that, they head across the peninsula to Fort Myers to play the Miracle, the Minnesota Twins affiliate, for 4 games starting Thursday the 22nd at 7:05, then Friday night at 7:05, Saturday at 7:05, and a day game on Sunday the 25th in Fort Myers at 1:05. They'll be off the 26th, and then the 27th, 28th, they'll be down the road in Port St. Lucie to play the Mets 7 p.m. contest, and then on the 29th, back at home to play the Mets on Thursday and Friday night, the 29th and 30th. Our next webcast will be that Thursday night, July 29 game at 7:05 p.m. against the Port St. Lucie Mets. And then after that, it'll be Tuesday, August 3rd against the Jupiter Hammerheads, 2 teams we haven't seen yet this year, the Mets and the Hammerheads, which is the Miami Marlins. Well, it's not quite Miami Marlins affiliate. It's going to be pretty soon, but for now, still the Florida Marlins affiliate. Okay, well, thank you very much for listening, and as always, I want to remind you that these webcasts are being done for free by SpaceCoastBaseball.com, that the Manatees do not have a radio contract, and they've agreed to allow SpaceCoastBaseball.com to do these. So we are not compensated by the Manatees, and we rely on your donations to keep this going. So if you would please consider making a one-time donation or signing up for a $5 a month voluntary contribution, it would be very much appreciated. You can go to the homepage at www.spacecoastbaseball.com to make your one-time donation or sign up for the voluntary contribution. Also, these games are archived, and so this game will be available in its entirety sometime tomorrow morning, hopefully, on SpaceCoastBaseball.com. And if you want to listen to any of the earlier games that we've done, just go to the homepage there, and on the menu bar, click on Multimedia and then select Audio, and you'll see all the games we've called to date along with the Florida State League All-Star game. Well, it was a heck of a ball game. It was as advertised for 9 innings, a scoreless duel, and then the Manatees fell apart in the top of the 10th to lose 3-1 to the Charlotte Stone Crabs. This is Stephen Smith for SpaceCoastBaseball.com. Thank you very much for staying with us for all 3 hours and 30 minutes of this game. We'll be back on July 29th against the St. Lucie Mets. Thanks for listening, and good night.